Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Outbid, Outpay, Outdraft, a Survivor off-season series that every week holds a draft for topics that span the world of Survivor over the past 45 seasons. My name is Mike Bloom, and new-ish name, Who Dis. Yes, thank you to everybody who is sending in feedback over the past couple of weeks. We did undergo an official name change. It got pushed one step, then one step further. We initially started with Outdraft, added in Outbid at the suggestion of Shannon Gus and several others, and then got one at the last second to finally complete the holy trinity of out phrases: Outbid, Outpay, Outdraft, as I am back with another motley crew of podcasters, players, etc., to be drafting a topic from Survivor auction style. And we got bad blood, or hopefully not bad water, unless you're Rudy this time around, because we are talking about a topic that has been very much existence throughout the series of Survivor, but has not seen come about on air. It's a theme that people have been jockeying for over the past 20 plus years, but we're going to make that fantasy a reality tonight as we are drafting pairs of iconic Survivor rivals. And today I am joined by four people who are friendly at the moment, but perhaps another rivalry will come about over the course of this evening. Only time will tell. They're putting up their dukes, I suppose, for those of you that are just listening along. Let's get into the Dukes and Duchesses tonight. Of course, somebody who is about to dive into covering Big Brother Canada, and the only way to prepare himself for that is to talk about a bunch of Americans squabbling over the course of decades of on-island activity. It's Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm great. Happy to be here. I came for the free $500. I hope I don't have to spend any.
Okay, well, Taran is doing the Tarzan method. I guess you can't spell Tarzan without Taran. I don't know how the shocks on his car are, but we'll see how shocked he is by his bidding. Of course, this is someone who is not unfamiliar to the concept of rivals, considering that the challenge has done it several times over, and she has covered the challenge for years at this point. Allie Lasher. Allie, how are you?
I'm in a tough spot because I really resent that I've been typecast into drafting rivals, probably based on my general temperament, but that resentment only proves the point. So I'm really between a rock and a rival place, but I'm excited to be here. Yeah, that's it.
Well, let's move on to a rock and a rival place, considering that these two were the ones that have been in my DMs for months at this point, back when Outlist was in the picture rather than Outdraft, saying you have to do rivals. And so when the idea came out, there were two people I could not ask to come on here. First, from Silent Podcast. It's not a silent auction, but so happy to welcome Gia Worthy to the podcast. Gia, how are you?
I am great. This does feel like the accumulation of months and months of, I want to say work, but Mike, really, it was your work. But I am so excited. And I was so excited, I couldn't even wait until 8 today. I had to start a fight with Omar on Twitter to just get into the combative spirit. And it was just great. It was quite a rush. I love a good Survivor fight. So yes.
Well, let's talk about the other member of that fight, and excited to have him participate in his first ever Survivor auction, considering he was robbed of the opportunity from Survivor 42, the always excellent Omar Zaheer.
Woo! Thank you for having me. I'm very excited. I'm an expert on rivalries. We'll see if we can get this pod, as controversial as possible. Obviously,
nope.
I have my DP ready, and I don't even know who Gia is, so maybe that's a one-sided thing.
Okay. Well, we shall see, because we're talking all rivalries, one-sided, two-sided, no-sided rivalries. There's at least one dimension to everything we are talking about today. Of course, if you are new to this entire grand experiment, what these people are about to undergo is a draft of iconic pairs of Survivor rivals. But we're not just doing any sort of regular, degular draft. This is Survivor, after all. There's always got to be a twist. And so something that Rob Cisternino ushered in with the first time we did this podcast is that these people are going to be drafting auction style. For those of you that don't know what that means, they're not going to pick the pairs, essentially. I am bringing them a pre-included list of pairs of rivals from over the past 45 seasons of Survivor. I'll bring them up one at a time. They, as you see from their lower thirds, each have 500 Probes bucks to spend. They can spend it however they like. They can bid on however many they want to. This auction will end at a predetermined time that they do not know about. And at the end of it all, we'll see whoever gets the highest bid, of course, gets the pair. And there'll certainly be some wheeling and dealing going on. Only one small rule change from the previous 2 times that we did this, because a lot of frugality going on, with due respect to our previous 2 panels. I want these people to be a little more spendy. And so we're inflating things a bit. Bids must be made in at least $5 increments. No more nickel and diming, quite literally, with Sasha Joseph. You have to make subsequent bids of at least $5 a piece. And let's see if we can roll up that bankroll. But let's take the temperature a bit before we dive in particular, and things truly get heated. Because Taran, for you, as like a scholar of reality television, I feel like there's a fine line between what makes a good rivalry versus a bad rivalry. What is that line for you?
Well, first of all, I feel like I'm becoming your rival right now because you are inflating costs without increasing income, which is very capitalistic of you and not cool. But I mean, listen, I love a good one-sided rivalry. Big Brother is full of them, especially because on Big Brother you get to watch people like freak out to themselves about this person that has no idea that they hate them, which is always great. But I think for Survivor especially, it's just about like, what are the big moments? What are the big fights that come about that are in my view, the best ones are like either strictly game related or over something incredibly stupid. Like it has to be one end of that extreme or the other. Going to any other extreme, I'm not as fun. It's not as fun for me. So that's what I look for.
Yeah, Ali, again, we have seen pairs of all sorts of different backgrounds and enmity between them, or lack thereof, perhaps, make their way onto the challenge. Is there any sort of particular type of dynamic that you are going for tonight with your own draft board?
Yeah, despite the fact that Taran and I are often in the same conversation, both scholars of reality TV and very highly respected in the exact same way, I prefer a deeply personal rivalry. Not in my own life at all, but I do think for purposes of the draft, and maybe we're going to get into this because we did have a little chit chat before, but like most podcasters, wanted to save it for the on-air portion of the night. But I do think I'm looking at this in like I want some diversity of rivalries. Like, while my favorites that jump out to me, that if I made like the first 5 rivalries that come to mind are probably pretty personal, here it's like I kind of want to spread the money, spread the love.
Yeah, you want to invest in a bunch of different types of portfolios.
Wow, you really are on that capitalist beat.
I mean, listen, we're not eating tonight, but we are eating the rich. So now, Omar, speaking of towards what Ali said, you did say there were a couple of questions you wanted to bring up to the panel live on air.
Well, the first one was answered because I was going to suggest a name change, so my bad. Outbid was...
That wasn't even a question.
It was a suggestion. And then, well, no, Michael Scott Bloom. It was, will you change the name of the game? Okay. And then the second thing that I said was, I'm an incredibly competitive person. I don't believe in cooperative games. The game Pandemic, no. I want a winner. And so I don't know why after the first draft, I haven't seen the second one yet, but why didn't we put up all these auction teams and have a winner decided? Because I was ready to vote for Team Maddie at that point in time, if you're listening, Mrs. Madonna. So I want my rival team to face all the other ones in a fan vote.
Okay. I mean, listen, I'll throw out the proposition. If these 3 will accept, we can do that. I think it's fitting given the nature of the rival season, but I will not push anyone else to do so.
Well, I would hate to agree with the Jimmy Johnson to my Jimmy T. I think that I think that this is the perfect opportunity to do it. Like, it is a Rivals podcast, and I think I have like the correct taste in what makes a great Survivor.
Oh, you have the
rivalry.
correct taste,
have
Mrs.
the correct
Survivor
taste.
Fiji. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I stand by that,
You
Omar.
didn't know who she was.
Just because yeah, thank you. Thank you, Taran. And I'm sorry. That's a whole other podcast. Listen to
Will you
Feed
give me your car?
Forever. Will you give me immunity at Final Four?
Let's find out.
all right, there we go. Wheeling and dealing already happening. Taran, Allie, how do you feel about this? Do you want to open things up? This might change the way you draft, so it's probably good to establish this early on.
So to be clear, it won't change anything about what I'm going to do today. I agree with the sentiment. I think Shannon also had this feeling. I came prepared to break this draft. Like it's fake money and there's no outcome. So like I'll do what I want, and if I don't get anyone, I don't care. But now that there's stakes, I'm almost certainly going to lose regardless. But to quote Ruxin from the league, it's better than a goddamn tie. So I am down to lose to any of you in a fan vote.
Yes.
All
Looks like we
podcasts
have
must have a
sides.
winner and a loser. So, yes, I agree.
All right. Well, I
Woo!
picked the 4 most competitive people to form the right answer on this. Apologies to Shannon. All right.
Like
Wait,
this
did
is
Shannon
this is the
suggest this?
shift from Big Brother 1 to Big Brother 2 as far as I'm concerned. This is a revolution.
There we
This
go.
podcast will never be the same after this.
Yeah, I think we have officially drawn first blood. And again, we're talking about bad blood right now. Okay. So you all are building teams to get voted on at the end. Not sure if that changes the way that you are going to approach things. Any other things that want to get brought up? Any other things that want to propose? Again, if you've watched the previous 2 iterations of this, you know stuff can be changed, propositioned on the fly. But any other ground rules we want to clarify before we dive into this thing?
Are all of the rivalries between 2 humans?
Yes, they are. Because I think if you open that bottle, good God, what's going to spill out?
So my suggestions were not accepted, Mike, that I've texted you all
Hey,
week.
listen, we know that there is that final round that I brought in last week where you all can bring in a wild card that you want to with the remaining money you have. So if you want to spend that on ubiquitous abstract concepts, go ahead.
Listen, I was really hoping to take Austin versus Pelican Pete from Omar. So I just feel like that should be an option.
That Pelican, my God.
Yes.
I have a question. Since you said we could try things, if we all pooled all of our money, Mike, would you get the new name of this podcast tattooed on you as well?
Oh, I mean, I could just get a
Ooh.
revision of it, right? Like I don't know how much more work it'll take.
Now to be
tattoos can
clear,
get refurbished.
$8. It's still going to be just 2,000 props bucks, but
I mean, that's a fair amount of money, I think.
also, do you have the shade button handy? Because Omar and Gia desperately need the sound effects drops into everything they're saying.
They're just living shade at this point. They're the palm fronds right now that we are weaving into this too.
I know you have it. Angela sent me a video recently. I know you have it.
Not on me, but perhaps I will find the opportunity, as some of the best rivalries across Drag Race might be shown up tonight by what's about to occur, both on our slideshow and across this panel. Without further ado, we've got the stakes. We've got the human-based qualifications. Let's get this draft a cook in here. So again,
Also, before we start bidding, I would like to tell my rival Gia as well as Allie, like, don't be fooled by Taran, because Taran is extremely smart. He was basically a traitor, and that's why he got voted out first. Everybody knew he had potential for that. And when he says that he likes this particular type of rivalry, is that not manipulating us already? Because what if he wants a different type, but he's like playing the game, you know? So just keep that in mind.
Or what if I knew you would think that?
See, he's so smart. He's such a threat.
Look, see, I said Taran and I are often in the same company. Everyone thinks exactly the same things about us. So I agree. Taran is so smart.
His stock watch is like 9.5.
well, we talk about intelligence. I think it's actually only appropriate that we start our auction tonight with a couple of brains.
Ooh,
Spencer and Chaos Kass. This is one of the rivalries that, of course, spans a couple of seasons. The two on the doomed Brains tribe worked together, even though they blindsided each other in the first couple of votes, until, of course, infamously, Kass flipped at the merge. Spencer said she had a 0% chance of winning the game, yet they made it to the final 4 together. Came back in Cambodia, where Kass was able to reciprocate that notion to him while he was sitting in the final 3. I'll open the bidding. Remember, again, you are bidding in at least increments of 5. on this. I will start the bidding at, let's say, $30 for Spencer
No,
and Chaos Cast.
clarification. I want to
Yeah.
make sure that if I buy this, that it does not become Riemann versus Kass.
That was my first thought.
All right,
Is it
you are
going to be
getting.
Spencer?
We are freezing this relationship as it is shown on television. Much
Okay.
like, I suppose, the sperm that Spencer has frozen in his own body.
Okay.
All right, so
I will go
$30.
30,
$30
130 with this little keychain.
30 to Omer. We're gonna let him have it. Going once.
It's
Yeah,
wild
it's-
that Omer's gonna get this for 30, but I want to bid like -5, which means Omer's got to give you 30 and me $5. Like, it shouldn't. I don't want this, but like
Yeah.
$30 feels like a steal.
Like we can freeze it, but I just can't get Raymond out of my head anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just there for me.
Well, I
It's
think
like-
if you outbid me, that aliens will probably come and kill you. So maybe don't.
It just feels like a Stanley Cup. Like, it's probably worth
A
more,
s-
but I don't want it. So
Excuse me? Did you just shade the Stanley Cup, which is a Canadian national icon?
yes,
Wow.
and
Boy.
I'm
All right. Well,
my
Omer,
apologies to Canada.
Omer might be going for the slap shot here with an easy goal right
The
now.
Tom Laidlaw?
$30 on Spencer and Cass. Going once. Going twice. Sold. Okay. First item goes unbid to Omer. Omer, talk to me about why you wanted Spencer and Cass on your tribe.
This is the most insane steal I could have possibly imagined. Not only do you have a 1-season arc, you have a 2-season arc that comes to a full fruition with Cass once again. Now, this time she's on the receiving end of Spencer, not Riemann. And the first time she outlasted him and they just went back and forth. And the thing that I love about a rivalry is when, and this one just fell short of that a little bit, but it came around in second chances, is when they hate each other so much, 0.0% chance of winning the game. And yet, at times, they have to work together and they're willing to do that. And that's when Cass saves Spencer and votes out Wu. I thought that was like a full circle moment. And to me, that took it to the next level.
Allie, was it just a matter for you of, you had said you wanted me to pay you to get Spencer and Cass. Is this a pair that you don't like? Because you talk about deeply personal, and these two dug into each other quite a lot in Cagayan.
See, like, I totally get where Omer's coming from with like sort of the repairs that were sort of able to be made for the game. But to me, like, this was, while it got personal, it didn't feel like personal originally, like in origin. I don't know. I just felt like it was sort of the flip Cass had to make. I don't know if that's unpopular, but I just feel like a true rivalry, like, can get put together, get back together. So yeah, I had them on my list as a pair I thought we'd see here tonight, but that I wasn't interested in buying. But I agree, it's an absolute steal at $30. So if I were playing for the fan vote, I probably would have gone to 35 here, but I got to play for myself.
All right, well,
Respect
let's see if this next option will tickle anyone's fancies a bit more, and we can get some actual bidding going here. Ben and Chrissy from Survivor, Heroes, Healers, Hustlers. An interesting situation where this is the rare friends to enemies arc, where these two were thick as thieves, even though they were both heroes in season 35. We're working together for a good amount of time until at one point Ben decided to go undercover and work with another alliance, at which point he and Chrissy were diametrically opposed foes. The irony, of course, is that neither could get the other one out because Chrissy kept winning immunity and Ben kept finding idols. It was only appropriate that those two made it to the end, became the top two finishers of the season. I will start the bidding on Ben and Chrissy at, I'm going to say $25.
I
I'll
do
do
love
25.
a petty queen though, when Chrissy was like, I'm just happy that I could keep Ben's loved one away from him. That was funny.
Yes, even though, again, it came down to a random rock draw, but we'll draft challenges in a couple weeks, maybe. $25 to Gia
I'll do
Worthy.
25.
Do I hear 30?
This to me is like the delicious looking iced coffee that's just offered alone. And it's like, well, I'm just going to end up like having to dig a hole and go to the bathroom immediately after the auction, you know? So,
Well, if you dig a hole, you might find an idol there.
Yeah, this is where I feel like the real rivalry is Chrissy versus the fire making challenge.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Abstract concepts of
Gia, I have a
advantage.
proposal for you that you
Yes.
thought of yourself.
Yes, I
Um,
did.
So what if we go in for 30, I pay 15, you pay 15, but you take Ben, I'll take Chrissy.
Wait. You take Chrissy?
Yeah.
You take Chrissy?
I'll pay 20, you pay 10.
No, I don't want. I was the $25 was for Chrissy.
Now, for any
Okay.
challenge fans, I feel like Ben made even more like rivals in his time involved in the challenge. So it's not, depending on who the audience is, it's not like a total
I don't necessarily
loss.
dislike Ben like to a point where I don't want him, but I want Chrissy. But I just feel like this has a very unsatisfying end to it. But the build up to it before Final Four fire making was introduced was so good. And so I either gotta have both or I gotta have Chrissy.
What do you think, Omar?
Well, no, absolutely not.
Okay, so the offer stands. Gia Worthy bidding $25 for Ben and Chrissy. Are we gonna let her have it? Going once, going twice. All right, Gia, you got it. Congratulations,
Yay.
you wanted Chrissy. You got Chrissy, and Omar is left stewing on the bench right now, though he's sipping his Spencer and Kass.
DP, baby.
All right, well, let's move on here. I think this will probably wet people's whistles a bit more.
Ooh.
From Survivor Exile Island, Shane and Courtney coming to you live from my shitty apartment, two of the most dynamic members of the iconic Kassaya tribe. I think it was Sarir or Danielle that said at one point that it seemed like they had crushes on each other, considering how much the two just absolutely abhorred one another, and they ended up sitting right next to each other on the jury bench. I'll start the bid at $25 for these two.
25.
25 to Gia.
You guys, I was on a podcast with I think that Gia will really want these two. Let's just put it that way.
I'll go.
So
I'll
you
go
can
30.
30 to Taran.
drive the hell up this price.
I'll do 35.
35 to Gia.
I'll go 40.
40 to Taran.
Taran, I thought we were friends.
Why would you think that?
I thought we were like 10 minutes ago. That was just so nice. I don't know. I thought so, but
What did he ever
never
do
mind.
for you? I don't understand.
All right.
More than you, Omar.
It is currently $40 for Shane and Courtney for Taran Armstrong.
I'll do I want? I'll do 45.
45 to Gia.
I just
50.
cannot.
50 to Taran.
Don't
Yeah,
let him
Taran
have
can
it
have
for
it.
50, Gia.
I'll go to 55.
55.
Ooh.
Allie Lasher coming through.
60.
60
I'll
to
go to
Taran.
65.
65 to Allie.
70.
70 to Taran. All right,
I'll
we
go
got
to
a bit more.
75.
75 to Allie Lasher.
Gia, get in there.
80.
No, I don't want it
$80.
anymore.
Taran Armstrong.
There are certain rivalries that I'm just like really, really waiting for.
Going once. Going twice. Sold to Taran Armstrong for $80. There you go. Shane and Courtney. All right, Taran, you talked about a little bit about your criteria beforehand into this draft. Do Shane and Courtney fit the bill for you?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
But
Everything about
did
this
he
ride-
not, Taran, get incredibly personal? So
I didn't say
you
it
were
couldn't be
playing with us.
personal. It
Oh,
can be
who said
very
that?
personal over game.
I
or
did, but
something
again,
stupid.
Taran and I are often confused, so it's understandable.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I do think $80 is the rent that Courtney was probably paying on her apartment at this point, so it feels appropriate. I mean, Allie, you were the one that was really bidding up Taran for this. Did you actually want Shane and Courtney, or were you just trying to get him to spend more money?
I was definitely willing to get them for a price, and then Taran went over it. I'm trying to be balling on a budget here. So I had a number in my head, and when Gia dropped out, I was genuinely, interested. It's great. I mean, it's great that she freaks out more about the shitty apartment, and that's what we're talking about rather than the death threat. Like, that's kind of incredible. Shane could be a rival with everyone, including like the Carolines audience or LA audience at the know-it-alls back in the day. So yeah, I still think even at 80, it's a steal, but I don't know what we're doing here and how much longer this is gonna go. So
You never
congrats
know.
to Taran.
Taran, who, as the owner of this pair, who is the most gangster Hollywood in this group?
Taran, the best person to ask this question to.
Yeah.
Obviously, you, Omar.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping you would say that. All right.
I am curious because I'm seeing some scuttlebutt in the chat, Gia, about how maybe Shane and Danielle should be included. I will also say that just because a person's name appears once doesn't mean they might not appear later on. But what do you think is the more iconic pair, Shane and Danielle or Shane and Courtney?
Oh, it's definitely Shane and Courtney. I just think they have so many. I love a nonsensical feud. Like, the dumber the arguments are where nobody is right, the better the rivalry for me.
Yeah.
And I think these two together are just like the perfect storm of chaotic mess, emphasis on the mess. So I think that one is more like the one you remember more. And but I also think you could probably put just like any two people on Kasaya on here and like probably get upwards of like $50. Like there was a lot going on in there.
Yeah,
I'm looking
I
forward to
needed
Melinda
Kasaya
Harris.
representation on my team for sure.
Yeah, Kasaya's a good brand, I think. You could always rely on good mess with Kasaya. Well, let's drop our
Shout out quickly. Sorry, last thing on that. Shout out quickly to Dr. Amanda, who helped me prepare for this podcast. And Shane and Courtney was her number one. So there's a feather in Taran's cap.
Well, let us drop our guns into the ocean from Shane and Courtney and move on. But from those guns rises a Brazilian dragon, Abby Maria and RC. This is another example of allies turned enemies, but it happened rather quickly over on Tandang. They avoided tribal council, but they did not avoid the drama. These two wanted to work together initially, but basically when paranoia went about, they turned on each other immediately, including at the literal first opportunity. And it got to the point where apparently RC was in the running for Survivor Cambodia and opted out upon finding out that Abby Maria might make the cast. I will start the bidding on Abby Maria and RC at, I'll keep going back to $25.
I'll do 25.
25 to Gia.
I'll do 30.
30 to Taran.
35.
35 to Omar.
If
Going
you
once.
fuck with me, you're dead.
Going
Yeah,
twice.
40. I'll do 40.
40 to Allie.
Allie.
I'll do 45.
45 to Gia. Going once.
50.
50 to Allie. Going once. Going twice. Everyone's on the board. Sold to Allie Lasher for $50. The Philippines duo. Was this on your board, Allie? What made you decide to go for them?
Yeah, I mean, how do you have a rivals tribe and Abby Maria's not involved in it? And I do think you need both. Like, I don't know how separating it is going to work in the future for folks willing to cut deals, but like, this is a rivalry that, you know, like Omar was saying about Kass and Spencer, span seasons, but in such a way that it interrupted the casting of a season, and somebody was willing to forgo a twice in a lifetime chance potentially just to not have to spend time with this person. I do think that's a little ding. Like, I probably wasn't going to go over 50 because when it really bleeds out of the game, it's like a little sad. It's like, I want to be deeply personal and then exit the island all good. But I think this is like a pretty iconic rivalry. I'm very happy to have these ladies join my squad.
Yeah, Gia, you were the one that really seemed to be bidding alongside Allie. Was that gouging, or were you expecting to have them on your team?
Well, part of me just wanted to have the most money after this round, and I think I achieved that goal, so I'm very happy about that. But also, I think anybody with Abby Maria on their team for, I mean, like, you're just blessed in general, but also she could be paired with so many people for rivals, and they're all just like equally hilarious and bring really good television. But I think that Abby Maria RC is really the catalyst of all of that. Like, that's the one you really think of, especially with Survivor Philippines. So I think that it's a good pick, but maybe not necessarily one of the picks that I was waiting for.
Okay, well, Allie, it is yours, and everyone now has a rivals pair in their team, which makes it the perfect time for our first covered item.
Ooh,
I will
almost said
start-
I would never bid on that.
I will start the bidding for this. Let's see if we can test that theory, Omar. I'll say $20.
$20.
Omar immediately breaking his own rule.
25.
25 to Gia.
Yes.
If it's Bruce and Katurah, I'm quitting right now.
30, because
Well,
I would take Bruce and Katurah.
Would be appropriate for 45. Alex, $30 to Ali Lasher.
I'll do 30. You said 30, Allie?
Yeah.
I'll do 35.
35 to Gia.
I'll go 40.
40 to Taran.
45.
45 to Gia. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Gia for $45. Most of the money, no more. Gia, what are you hoping's under here?
I am hoping for anything with Sandra or Bruce and Katurah. I think those are the ones that I've been like very excited for. I'm not sure what to expect here. Maybe I already mentioned them, the Jimmy Johnson, Jimmy T.
All right. Well, I will say this item is a little cold, but that's because that's what Sierra had in Survivor Token. She had a little cold. You
I
got
was holding out for this one.
Tyson and Sierra, the embattled Timbira foes, where Sierra got the last lap upon him after he mocked her to her face and behind her back throughout all of Token Sheens.
I am so happy.
I
Wait,
just
how much
got
did I
outfoxed
spend
by
on?
an idiot.
You spent $45.
45. Thank you.
G, I'll give you 50.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll
Or
do
I'll
that.
I'll give you 55.
Ask for more. Ask for
Oh,
more.
oh,
Don't
Tar-
give it to him for 50.
Okay, well
ask
now
for more.
we're getting an extra bid here. Taran's gonna give you $55 for this, Gia. What do you think?
Omar, you want them for 60?
Yes.
All right, I'll give him to Omar for 60.
Not even allowing Taran to bid.
Wait,
Wow.
do I make more money now? Oh my god.
Yeah, you're up to $490, and Omar is
Yes!
out $60. But you have Tyson and
Wait.
Sierra on your team.
Wait, no, don't I have over 100 or over 500
Oh,
now?
sorry,
'Cause I
yes,
had
you're right. Sorry, you had $475, and you are now up to $535.
I
Well,
am
she's
a god. I love it.
I
I'm so
love
happy.
the move, but you definitely could have gotten more out of one of them.
No, I was
I
gonna
know.
max out there.
Oh,
I was gonna
Taran?
say 65. Yeah.
I don't change. I don't regret any of it.
It's
I
just
think, like,
personal now, and I like that.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank
Taran, I'll
you.
give it
Thank
to you
you,
for
Allie.
80.
What? No, Omar's gonna flip this house right now?
Omar, I'll take it for 65.
80.
Taran, I'll give you $5 to make the bid 70 if that sweetens the deal.
All right, the bid is 70.
75.
With Allie's $5, I'll do it.
Sure.
Okay, so just to clarify now, Omar spent $60 to get them from Gia. Taran has now grabbed a $5 from Allie and is spending $75 to get it from Omar.
Well, he's spending 70. Yes, 70.
Yes. So
Okay.
I've transferred $5 to the bank of Taran, and now
For what
he's giving
reason?
She's
for fun.
charitable.
for fun.
Oh my god.
I really wanted Tyson, but the reason that I was willing to sell it is Sierra.
Slay.
Interesting. Are you not a Sierra
Adding
fan?
to the one-sided beefs with Sierra.
Mike,
Sierra
I'll give
sucks.
you $5 outside of the game if you go get that shade button to drop behind Omar, because like it's lacking. We'll riff.
It's
Come
a
on.
live show. It's a live show.
We'll
Well-
riff. We'll riff.
Well, Omar, you kickstarted this entire money-changing conundrum. What made you so eager to, at one point, go all in on Tyson and Sierra?
Well, I just think that, okay, so the Tyson Sierra feud is so funny because Sierra is so annoying, but she has no idea that she's annoying. And Sierra is the type of person where the harder she tries, like you can feel bad for her, but it's like when she tries to defend herself, she immediately all of that sympathy goes away because it would be better if she just shut the hell up. And Tyson was the only one that was willing to say it. I thought it was so funny when he said, I love, and named every single person except her, and then Brendan on the jury. And the piece de resistance is that he got blindsided and she had no idea he was even going home. Like that is such a great feud. But at the end of the day, money is money. And I'll take that because Sierra sucks, but I would have kept Tyson if I could have.
all right,
He'll be
so
very upset that I did this, but it is. what
Taran,
it is.
you were the big spender here. What made you feel like this was the pair worth going in on with a bit of Allie's money?
I love stupid rivalries. I love one-sided rivalries. This is a one-sided rivalry with Tyson in it. Like, it's so great.
Also, I have 495.
Yes, sorry. I am trying to do some quick math on the fly here. Okay, 490 for Omar.
495.
495. Okay.
I think he's just making that up.
I think
I think the Gia math is also wrong, by the way.
yes.
No, that one's correct.
No,
It's
I'm
definitely wrong.
yeah. Gia was trying to one up me here, but the winner, Matt Bloom versus arithmetic, is the true battle here.
I've learned that if I make enough complicated deals, I can just trick Mike into giving me extra money.
No, because I had 475,
and you
then
spent
I got
$45, and then you sold it for $60 more.
Okay, never mind. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah,
See, I do think if
Right,
Gia is able to persuade you, and only Gia, none of the other three of us are able to persuade you to keep her money different for like more than 5 minutes on screen, then she gets that money.
interesting.
Like,
So
you
you're trying to
changed
trick
it.
me.
That's
Thank
it.
you, Allie.
The game within the game. So
If you let me keep it over 500 for the LOLs, I will donate $10 of that to Allie's fund.
I would need $20 of that.
$10 of the fake money.
I disagree.
I mean, the fake
But
money.
also,
I'm also
maybe
intrigued
you're
by Allie's chump change throwing in for Taran. Like, are you expecting a quid pro quo here? Are you expecting
Not
a
at
back
all.
scratching down the line?
No, not at all. I just think like I was never gonna bid on that first covered item. And then if Tyson and Sierra were here, I wouldn't have bid on them. So I was just like bored and I wanted to be a part of it. And it felt like it would be fun.
Well, you
And then I do appreciate that Taran did go up a 5 on his own, only because like, wow, how not fun would that have been if I made the $5 gesture and he said, no, sorry. So I think that was an iconic moment.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on from the shell game that this draft has become and try to get things back to a more old school mentality with an old school pair. And woo, this is a rivalry if I've ever seen one. Boston Rob and Lex. Talk about friends turned enemies. If you can, I suggest you bid on this one. I will start the bidding on Boston Rob and Lex at $20.
I'll go 20.
I'll take it for $20. I mean, that's free.
Okay. So Taran was the first in with 20. Allie, you gonna do 25?
I don't acknowledge the magnifying glass over my loud vocals, but sure, I'll do 25 for spite.
25 to Allie.
For spite, I want that in the record.
For spite, 25 and some spite from Allie.
All right, fine. I'll go 30 then.
30 to Taran. Going once.
I mean, 35.
35 to Allie. Going once. Going
I love Boston.
All right,
Rob,
I'll do 40. I'll do 40.
Can't.
40 to Taran. Omar is talking to himself in the corner.
Lex sucked. Like, I can't do it.
I just can't do this one.
I mean, it's so interesting. I'm going to fold at 40. So if Gia or Omar want to get in, otherwise Taran has it.
No,
All right,
I'm
going
good.
once, going twice. Taran, back to back here, and hopefully they stay yours for my own sanity's sake. Lex and Boston Rob, going to you. The bromance turned sour.
I would have spent $350 on this. This is the rivalry of my childhood. Like when I watched Survivor as a kid, there was no greater rift in the players than Boston Rob. Like Lex had so much vitriol for Rob, and to my knowledge, still does to this day. And that it's like it leads to the iconic, like the move of like, hey, you know, look out for her if you can. And then he did, and then Rob didn't look out for him. It's so ingrained in my brain, this moment. It's so classic.
Whose team
Survivor.
were you on though?
Can I just say something that might be a little controversial?
Always.
This is not Lex's best rivalry.
They're going to say photo.
No. Oh,
Not a bad photo.
I'm sure
Kelly
he has,
Goldsmith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so fun. I just feel like it's just such a funnier one. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah,
It is funnier.
It's
I
definitely
feel
more
like
pleasant.
I feel like though I've covered all 3 of my criteria though now. Like this is the game related, just like classic rivalry.
But this one's
I've
so
got like
deeply
the
personal.
stupid rivalry.
That,
I've
it's
got the
crazy that
one-sided.
you say this is your game-related rivalry for exactly what Omar was saying.
Well, but it was a personal thing that came strictly from game, right? Like it was a game move that impacted them on such a personal level, which I find very entertaining.
But can we agree that Rob asked Lex outside of the game? However, Lex multiple times used outside of the game friendships to advance his own game and even said so on camera on the actual show.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But like
Okay.
also that was why All Stars is such a weird season, because obviously for understandable reasons that had never happened before. So it was bound to get messy no matter what when you're bringing pre-existing relationships into this. And I think to Taran's point, like to me this is All Stars in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's just this general idea of two big people from the first 7 seasons working together, then working against each other, and like honestly everyone ending up miserable by the end of it, which was kind of All Stars in a nutshell.
Mhm.
So this was in my tier 2, and honestly, I thought Gia or Omar would also bid, and so I really, when I bid 35, like I really didn't even want it for 35, but I was like not gonna let Taran have it for free, which I mean he still kind of gets it for free. But this is the rivalry that's probably the most akin to like a challenge rivalry, where like they have a pre-existing relationship, love is involved, like, you know, so it does feel like home to me. But it just, I think I gave away my hand a little bit when I said that like the extension of this, that this has lasted decades, does make my heart sad a little bit, despite my propensity for carrying grudges.
Omar,
for
what are you
years and
holding
years.
up?
He's
Oh,
got to go.
he's got to go. Okay.
Quick, put up,
So
quick,
much
put up
more
Bruce
of
and
a
Katora.
thing than it would have been.
I mean, it didn't say, I didn't see that it said he's got to go, but he did the universal sign for I got to go.
Yeah, with just the
backwards
hitchhiking
thumbs.
pointing
Yeah.
off. All right, well, I think then Omar has given forgiveness to sit out this next item.
Is it Bruce and Katora?
Ooh, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we can filibuster for a bit if we want to about.
Well, it
Boston.
depends who it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Give us a hint. Do pantomime. Act it out silently, and we'll narrate to give us.
Yeah,
a hint
give it to us, and then we'll decide if we want to let him have a crack
Yeah,
at it.
exactly. That's what you want. I bet essentially I'm the one revealing the covered item to you, and you're like, no, I don't think you should bid on it. What I will say is, if we're talking about Taran's criteria, this is a deeply personal rivalry.
Charades.
Oh, I think I know. Okay, I think I know who this is.
What?
Come on.
What?
Yeah, you said it was deeply personal.
Wait, if she guesses it, she gets a discount.
Wait, Omar,
Can
I
I-
just want to tell you, Omar, I just want you to know that they wanted to go on without you, and I was like, absolutely not. That's so unfair.
She's lying.
I did say
Actually, that is
I
kind
did.
of true. Mike was gonna go on, and I was like, no.
Actually, I didn't completely lie.
That was
I
mostly
did-
true. And no one's more
I-
surprised than me. No one is more surprised than me that
I did not
was
ask
there.
to go on to just anything. I asked them to go to Bruce and Katora specifically.
Okay, that is low, A, and B. Michael Scott Bloom, you still owe me $5 and you were going to move on?
How do I owe you $5?
I am at $4.95.
All right.
Is that what you went to go do? You just went to go like grab a calculator and recalculate your money?
He went to watch back the last
He went to go get an abacus out. All right. Well,
Okay, wait,
have
I want a
another-
math check on that because
he spent 70.
how could Gia and Omar be basically at jump and still have
All right,
two
trying to think. So
bids?
Omar spent $30, and then he spent $60, which took him down to $410, and then he spent $75, so he should be at $485.
Right. He received
I get it.
75.
It's just one round too late.
Wow, did you do that intentionally? Say I'm $5 off.
You owe me. No, he said you owe me $5.
I
He
wanted him
didn't
to
say
help
that.
me out if he could. And then he looked into it too much.
It's like Al Capone being like, please audit me. Please investigate me for tax fraud. All right, we're moving on here. It's appropriately messy that we're moving on to this because, as I said, this is a rivalry that is deeply, deeply personal.
Yes! That's what I thought it was.
All right, well, Gia,
Yes!
congratulations, Nostradamus here. Randy, Bailey, and Crystal Cox.
Why does Randy's head look photoshopped onto his body in this photo?
He does.
The shadow looks like you
Weight loss
pasted
is a
new
son of a
photo.
bitch.
I'm going to go $50, and I'm the only one here that's been hate tweeted by Randy. So back
That's not
off.
true.
Randy used to be a
Wait,
big
what?
fan of mine, so I can't even participate.
Oh.
All right, so $50 to Omar with his
the
own
only
string bid
one.
here.
I'll do 55.
55 to
60.
Gia. 60 to Omar.
70.
70 to Gia.
75.
75 to Omar.
80.
80 to Gia.
90.
90 to Omar.
What you gonna do about that, Gia?
Enjoy being in the 300s, Omar.
Are you sure you don't want to go a little higher?
No, I'm sure.
Allie, can you give her $5?
Grandma Allie be like, it's $5. It's your birthday.
Oh no.
Can
Alright,
I give in increments lower? I mean, I'm not going to. I'm the CEO of this podcast, but what if I gave in like $2 and Taran gave $3, which would make Omar have another $5? You know,
I'm
Like,
not
can we
doing this.
give-
No, I'm not
But if
giving
I-
change. It's no singles. $5 bills
If
only.
I lose $3, I essentially lose $5.
Well, no,
because
then
then I
it's
can't afford
$2
the
you
next
could give
jump.
to somebody else, or someone would only have to give you $3.
The bid is currently at $90 from Omar Zaheer.
I'll
Go
take it.
Going once, going twice. Sold for $90. Highest bid so far to Omar. Now let me go to Gia first. I will keep asking, was it price gouging, or you had a big reaction when Randy and Crystal first came up? Were they on your board?
There are certain seasons to me that have just incredible rivalries, like season defining rivalries. And I think Randy with like half the cast is one of them. But I think that like the two big characters on such a crazy season like Gabon, like Randy and Crystal are like two of the biggest characters. So I just think it's such a good rivalry. It's not one of my favorites. I think there are some other ones in the mix, just in Gabon alone, that I would also be happy with. But also, I did not want Omar to have more money than me. And now I got my wish. And I got to see Randy and Crystal again. So, like, I'm just winning on all counts.
Yes, Gia wins by my posting PNGs in a slideshow.
Yes,
We're all the winner in that way.
It's the little things in life, you know?
Omar, you're looking like Randy at the end of the Gabon auction. It seems like you're not incredibly happy despite the fact that you were part of the bidding war between these two. You think you went too high?
Those were my cookies. This was my money. This is my auction. I'm not happy about it. But honestly, so part of me is very happy because this rivalry is iconic. I love when Survivor has rivalries that insert themselves into unexpected places as well, such as right after the challenge with the snake that Crystal was crying and Randy goes, wham, wham, wham. That is not a typical place on a cross-tribal situation that you're going to get a moment like that, but we got it. And then her voting confessional, simply iconic. She's a game changer. She started it all. I love it. I love it so much. But on the other hand, I don't think we should all forget right now what Gia is doing. She is telegraphing that she's keeping the most money so she can go all in on Bruce and Katurah. And I think that the rest of us need to be able to pool our money to prevent that from happening when it comes up. Because
1,000%.
I'll take Bruce or I'll take Katurah. I don't
Oh,
care.
I need Katurah.
I'll take no one, and you guys can split it, and I'll
I'll
give
take
like
Bruce.
15 bucks. I mean, look,
So-
I think Gia's more brilliant strategy of all of the brilliant strategy that she's exhibiting, that you're exhibiting, Gia, is that every bidding war that she loses, she then shames the winner by saying, well, my whole objective was to have more money than you.
Yeah,
And it
I'm,
was
I'm winning.
effective at making me feel upset.
Gia's
And
really
even when
winning,
I-
I win.
Even when I lose, I win.
She is the villain. Keep that in mind when Bruce and Katurah come up. And then we'll all have our own silent confessional where we'll know.
Well, Omar's saying forget you, go home, goodbye to nearly $100 of his hard-earned cash, as he has Randy and Crystal on his team. Let's throw this next one back, shall we? Now, I said that we were going to get into some bad blood and bad water, but if I passed this rivalry by in the desert, I would gladly give them a drink of water. Kelly Wigglesworth, Sue Hawk. Some would argue with the original pair of rivals very late coming. Obviously, were thick as thieves until really the final five when Kelly had second thoughts about the titular alliance. And of course, it culminated in arguably the most famous moment in the show's history as Sue let her have it and then some. I will start the bidding on Sue and Kelly at, from those reactions, I'm going to say $40.
Don't buy their
$40.
theater. Didn't we just see the same theater and then neither of them wanted them?
Well, Gia went in for 45, so
40.
40 to Gia.
It was a little sad, this one, no? She was saying that Kelly was like her dead best friend, and then,
All right. Well, Omar's pulling out a sob story for people not to bid on it.
$55.
I mean, 45.
Oh, Omer jumps to $55.
Oh, he went to 55? Okay. I was like, I could have had a really good team with all women.
I'll do 60.
60 to Gia.
65.
A whispered sensual 65 to Omar Zaheer.
I will do 70.
70 to Gia. We got another bidding war.
Is that a Pagong buff you have there? It's
No,
salon.
it's
75.
salon.
$75 to Omer.
Gia's been bragging this whole time that Dino sent her a buff and Dino didn't send us a buff. Like, that's villain behavior.
Well, sounds like the real rivalry is between Omer and Dino. $75 to Omer right now.
Yeah, I'll do 80.
80 to Gia.
I feel like everyone's going for free. Like, this is fake money and this could end tomorrow, or like after the next
You're not even bidding right now.
Yeah, I'm just
85.
influencing. I'm an influencer.
Nihilist
in this
Ali
context.
Lasher on the bench. We could all end tomorrow. And what will we have to
85.
show for it? $85 to Omer.
90.
90 to Gia.
95.
Woo!
He can have it.
Yes.
All
This is
right.
an iconic pair. How
Going
could you
once,
not?
going twice, sold. Now, Omer, you have spent nearly $200 on the past two pairs, but Kelly and Suhawk are yours. How you feeling right now?
This is exactly was my max out bid on this. But had it come earlier, I would have gone higher. This is the original Survivor rivalry. This created the most iconic moment in all of Survivor history. It's deeply personal and yet so compelling. And it's why the show's still on today for you to be able to bid on Bruce and Katurah. So there.
Sue and Kelly walk so Bruce and Katurah could run.
Sue and Kelly died for our sins. It's true.
Well, Gia, so what ended up having you relent by the end? Is it just your net worth?
I mean, it's a little bit that, but also I'm going to be really disappointed if some of these rivalries that I'm hoping for do not come up. But I think that there are just some that, for me personally, the rivalries that I am looking forward to, there are certain ones that like really, really stick out to me. And obviously Sue and Kelly are a big one, but I think there are some other ones that I'm holding out just a little bit longer for.
Taran, I know that you said Boston Rob and Lex, like that's your childhood survival rivalry. Where do Sue and Kelly rank for you?
I think it's great. I mean, I would have gone in for a little bit cheaper on this one. But I think for me, it's just it was too short-lived because they were friends for too long. Like it didn't define the season as much for me, and it wasn't quite as memorable for that reason. Like I would have needed more of it. Like I'm trying to go for ones that really stand out to me in my memory.
All right. Well, you
Were
want
you
one?
3 years old when this happened? Because this was literally electrifying television.
I was
Yeah, I
8
think
years
old. Omer got a steal here. I wasn't just trying to be a jerk in the debate.
No,
Like,
yeah.
I wasn't gonna spend this much on Sue and Kelly, but again, what are we doing this for? Like, I don't know. Like, what probably in the top 3 most iconic Survivor rivalries. And I agree with Omer that this is like all of Survivor stands on this rivalry's back.
And
So
the important thing
kudos.
is, collectively, we all have more money than Gia. So
Hey.
All right. Well, listen, Taran, you wanted a rivalry that you could really mull over. How do 2 battering rams sound for you? Another pair from Survivor Exile Island, Otis and Terry. Let's see who will be calling the Wambulance as they spend a certain amount of money on these 2 alpha males. I will start the bidding on Otis and Terry at the age that probably Otis was when he played, $20.
20.
20 to Gia.
I'll do 25.
25 to Taran.
30.
30 to Gia. Going once.
Can I sidebar with Omer?
yes.
It's not strategically, it's just gossip. Like, to me,
Oh.
when Taran was describing the rivalry that he looks for, like, this is the one that came to mind from his description for me. So if he doesn't bid up here, then I'm gonna be like, wow, you were right, and he really was like manipulating us.
Gaslighter. He's
Look at her
gatekeeping.
trying to manipulate me into bidding more.
I'm
with
not
them.
even trying. This is like absolutely the truth. I'm just
think
saying.
Taran,
I only
he's
tell
only
the
playing it
truth.
chill. Ali does only tell the truth, and Taran is playing it chill. Like he's his body language is back in his chair. Like, oh yeah, I'm not going to bid
Yeah, I
that
don't
much,
know.
but like,
Maybe.
Gia, put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, I'll go 35.
35 to Taran.
I'll do 40.
40 to Gia. Going once.
I'll go 45.
Gia,
45.
go 60. Gia, go 60 right now.
50.
50 to Gia. Going once.
55.
Taran's up it to 55, so Gia now has to go 60.
60.
And she does.
And
$60.
look where we ended up anyways.
Going once. Going twice. Sold to Gia for $60. Still the
I
most
would've-
amount of money, but...
I would have paid.
Oh, wait, no, not anymore.
I would have paid at least $100 for this. So I
Wow.
would take 60. Yes. I love this rivalry so much.
Why?
It
Why?
is so good. So Panama is just such a unique story on its own, like the mess of Kasaya, but the vitriol they all have for Terry, because he does not play like a great social game. Like it is totally makes sense, but like it's the one thing that entire tribe can agree on. And for as chill and very zen that Aris is for the majority of the season, this is just like his trigger. It's just Terry's existence. Even when things are going his way, like 90% of the time, and all Terry can do is win immunity challenges and walk around with his idol. Like it's just a comedy of errors all the way through. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. And when it actually comes time to what they actually get Terry out, I think it's Danielle that wins immunity, if I'm right. Yeah, so like he's not even the reason at the end that Terry gets out, but the rivalry between Aris and Terry and the way they've been built up as each other's foils has just like, it's so good. I'm a big fan of this season, but Aris and Terry as a rivalry is just such a good side story for me. I love them so much.
Yeah, Taran, you were in the bidding war for Gia on this one. Any thoughts about Aris and Terry as a rival pair?
I like that they defined the season. It actually wasn't something I really wanted. I was just trying to get Gia to go up. But then Ali and Omar were like hyping me up like I was gonna really go for it, and I was scared she was gonna get scared of me.
Ali, read him his rights.
All right. Well,
but I do think it's fun. I like that there's arguments. I like that it's long and it defined the season. I don't know, for some reason it's just like over time for me it's sort of like diminished in sort of its impacts.
well, anybody want chocolate?
Oh,
Colby Donaldson, Jerry Manthe, a rivalry 3 seasons in the making, from tribe mates turned against their will date goers and crime committing date goers, I should say that, in the Australian outback, to the hotel clerk coming to call in All Stars, to forming apparently a friendship loosely behind the scenes of Survivor Heroes versus Villains, and making it all the way to the finale. Definitely one of the most long-term arcs we have had across 2 characters in the show's history. But how will they be as a pair of rivals in your portfolio? Now, this one has a bit of longevity behind it, so I'm going to start the bidding at $50 for Jerry and Colby.
Steep.
I'll do 50.
50 to Gia.
This is a tough one because it is like classic and iconic, but it was also like famously a nothing rivalry, you know? Like
in what
like
way?
it was so
Taran?
built up by the edit.
See, I was going to say the thing that hurts this one the most is that the third season, the third iteration, they didn't show their relationship growth enough. And so I felt like it fell a little bit flat.
Okay, well, it's currently Gia's at $50 if anyone wants to.
55
to Omar after he just said that.
I feel like if you hadn't reminded him that I bid it, he would have left it alone.
Gia, we have been covertly working together.
So you'll let me have it for 60 then?
Maybe 70. I'll go 65.
All right.
Is that an official bid?
So I guess Omar's officially putting it a bid at $65.
Yeah, I'll do 70.
70 to Gia.
75.
75 to Omer.
I thought you didn't want it. Why are you acting like this? Oh my God. 80.
80 to Gia.
It's all yours.
85.
Bid 85.
Oh! Taryn
All
comes
right, I'll
in
bid 90. We don't have
and
to.
90 to Allie from the top rope.
I'll bid 100.
All right, Gia going triple digits for the first time.
105.
105 to Allie.
110.
110 to Gia. Going once.
115.
115 to Allie Lasher. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Allie. Coming in with her second only group at $115. Was
For
it
those
worth the high...
for those keeping track at home, I still have the most money.
Well, now you do, yes.
Yeah, I was already well, first I was starting to get comfortable, like maybe I just like will only have RC and Abby Maria, and that's kind of like the most hilarious result of this draft for me. But at this point, Jerry and Colby on my team are more valuable than the most money, so I'm not even feeling burned by Gia's emphasis on that. This is it, baby. And Taran and Omer, that was cute, like to try to jump in and be like, they're not really rivals. The story didn't pay off. This is it. Not only did this define like the showmance and the like, will they, won't they vibe and the uncomfortableness.
More like,
of
will
that.
they? He doesn't want to.
Right. I said it was uncomfy. Look, I'm on the right side. But it really defined like the femme fatale villain and then her own redemption arc within this rivalry. Like Jerry and Colby, if they were the only person on my team, I would have spent $475 or whatever I had. It's a steal for me at any price.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, I meant it. Like, I agree. I think that in terms of its importance to Survivor history and in terms of maybe even getting votes from the audience, I think Jerry and Colby is a huge get. But personally, I just like, I think the fact that it was just, it feels like it was such a tame rivalry compared to what we get now that was like built up so much in the show. And then also like the real life ramifications that came from it for, you know, like Jerry, who, you know, was vilified, I think far beyond what she should have been at a time when that wasn't really a normal thing. And being so at the whim of an edit, I think is one of like the really like nasty parts of reality television that I don't love. So like on a personal level, I don't love it, but I think this will do numbers.
All right. Well, we got a lot of iconic old school duos.
And not to become rivals with the audience, but I don't give a shit about your votes. I wanted this for me.
Oh, Allie negging the audience. Let's see. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works for them. Well, even though Allie's strategy towards getting the popular vote has been uncovered, this next item will remain covered.
$25.
All right. Omer starting the bid at $25 for this.
30.
30 to Gia.
40.
45.
45 to Taran.
50.
50 to Gia. Going once.
55.
55 to Omer. Going once.
I feel like Sandra's under there, you know.
Going twice. Sold to Omer for $55.
Show us Sandra.
Well, maybe not yet, because Omer, my friend, you have a choice to make.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You can keep what you bid on in item A, or you can
How did I
swap
end up here?
for this new item in item B.
Can you describe each one with like a smell?
Oh, it smells like a fart.
Both of them?
Mm-hmm.
What bird from Omer's chart reminds you most of these players?
Ooh, yes. Okay, I'm gonna go with I got a lot of A's in school, but we're gonna go with the B here. Let's go.
All right. Well, the reason why I said it smelled like a fart is because both of these rivalries involve a person who did fart in confessional in Nyanka Mixin. Omer, you gave up Nyanka and Fabio, and you got Nyanka and Kelly Bruno.
Oh, shame.
Can I have Nyanka and Fabio, please?
Well, first off, Omer, I want to get your reaction. How are you feeling right now? You spent $55. You swapped, and now you have Nyanko wrestling with a one-legged woman over a clue to a hidden immunity item.
Honestly, these are both super iconic. You know, the whole tribal council feud. Look at its face. Look at that face trying to make sense with Nyanka, and she is not having it, and that's so funny. And then the leg in the fire, etc., like too much, but great TV. But I will say I'm open to Gia buying this from me.
Well, I was going
I
just
think
to
she wanted the other
clarify,
one.
you swapped. You got Nyanka and Kelly B. Nyanka and Fabio, I can put that back up on the table if somebody wants
Please.
to bid for it.
Yes.
You could, or she could buy both from me.
That's not how this works.
I'll
You
allow
don't
it. I
you
think we
don't-
should allow it.
You don't own both. You own the one.
All right, so Gia, you offered $55 for Nyanka and Fabio.
I mean, I didn't offer any particular amount of money, but sure, I'll do 55.
I think it's only fitting. That's the amount that Omar gave
Yeah.
me. Any else want to outbid Gia there? Or does she get
I don't
Nyanka?
know. I don't know that it should be offered uncovered for the same price that Omar bought it covered.
Yeah, it should be double.
That's kind of bush league.
No, what? No, absolutely not. Nope. I was offered 55.
By who? By Mike? Mike, I'm
Yeah.
appealing to the host. That's not really the same. You're now revealing an item and just giving it for the covered price.
I mean, you can outbid her if you want to. And try
No,
to
but I
drive
think
that
the
price up.
starting price of an uncovered item is like that's such disrespect to
You
Omar
have to pay an
participating in the
tax.
covered. I'll just wait till the next one gets revealed then.
Give me a starting price that you think it should be at.
I'm willing to defer to you, except I don't think it should be based on what someone bought it covered.
75.
Gia, $65.
Oh.
I bought it for 55. Can I just get Nyanka for 55?
What? No.
Yes. No, I'll do 65.
Allie,
Okay, there
outbid
we
her,
go.
'cause she's gonna go higher.
Happy doing business with you.
I'm just
Gia.
on the
Yeah.
principle. I just had to fight for the principle. I don't
Thank
want the
you.
pair.
All right. So, Gia, you get it for $65. Talk to me a bit about Nyanka and Fabio in particular, to what Omar was kind of referring to earlier.
Oh, they're great. They're great. I love my nonsensical rivals. I love that they work together sometimes, but also not really. They're just kind of a mess. The whole season's a mess, and especially the tribe that they were both on. But they cannot seem to work together for long periods of time. And yet somehow at the end of the day, she still is one of the crucial votes for him to win the $1 million. And I think that's beautiful. And she says one of the most iconic, underrated jury quotes of all time, where Fabio, it has been an honor cussing you out. Like, that just speaks to me on another level. I just think this is this is the exact type of rivalry that I am looking for. There's like still some level of I don't want to say care, but like something kind for like a modicum of respect between the two of them, but it's just still hilarious to watch. I think this is just a very funny season, and Nyanka and Fabio are a big reason why.
The care of wearing someone else's socks when you thought that they burned yours in the fire for no particular reason. I mean, this is worth the price, if only to have Jeff Probst have to say the phrase, Fabio, she don't like you, as sincerely as he does. All right, well, let's move on here from our buy one, get one, I suppose, sale on Nyanka, which is sort of the way that she and Purple Kelly quit the game as well. Let's move on here. And we were talking about one-sided rivalry with Nyanka and Kelly B. Let's move on to a rather iconic one. They say there are lots of fish in the ocean, but in my opinion, there's only one Shambo, and Laura Moret.
That's a good one.
From Survivor Samoa. I will start the bidding on these two at $25.
I'll do
That's
25.
We'll go to, I heard Taran first at 25.
I'll
Going
do 30.
30 to Gia.
Yeah.
35.
35 to Taran. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Taran for $35. Congratulations. You have a Shambo on your team. How you feeling right now?
I'm down. This was pretty cheap. I think this is a fun rivalry. I think they are both classic characters. To get a Shambo here is great. I'm down for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is really such a unique dynamic, and that, of course, we do have one-sided rivalry. It's been talked about. It will be talked about. But this is like one of the biggest ones, I think, just because if you talk about longevity, it was mentioned throughout in the entire pre-merge because Galoo basically never went to tribal council. And so it is just Shambo coming through with the most deep-seated hate for Grandma Laura Moret about how disrespectful she is, how she consistently undermines her. And so by the time the merge actually hit, Shambo was ready to like strangle her with the curls upon her coiffed hair out of basically nothing, it seemed at that point.
That was my take originally when I watched it, and probably the second time I watched it. But now looking back, I think that Laura probably was low-key very passive-aggressive and exclusionary. I do think so.
Do you think
this is the mark of a great rivalry, is that you
True.
can justify either side.
There's mystery.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I'm wearing kind of like a purple V-neck, but I really feel like I could pull off like Shambo for Halloween.
I'm honestly surprised that more people haven't
Ooh.
since 2009 or whenever Survivor Samoa aired. Why isn't everyone rocking the Shambo every year?
Yeah, check back with me on
Well,
October.
isn't that like now becoming a very popular hairstyle amongst men? Sammy, Cody.
That's true. Actually, yeah, we went from Shambo to Shammy, I suppose. And so we'll see if that mullet will return every year on Survivor. It's like Mergatory. It's the hair that keeps on coming back, even if we don't want it to. I'm going to continue on this one-sided rivalry train, and we mentioned Mergatory. Let's bring in our first new era rivalry. Some call them lovers, some just call them straight-up rivals, but regardless, they were an interesting part to watch of a very interesting season. Liana and Xander. Let's see if you're going to say, I like what you said about this next item. I'm going to start the bidding at $20 for Liana and Xander.
You did pick the perfect picture. She really hates his face right there.
I mean, this is their dynamic, I think, in a nutshell, of Liana just glaring dagger at him and Xander just, I don't know, thinking about the world as it should be.
I'll do 25 for them.
25 from Gia.
Yeah, I'll go 30.
30 for Taran. Going once. Going twice.
I'll do 35.
35 from Gia.
Gia's so playing it cool, but you can tell there's thoughts there. What a threat.
Good.
I was so
Omar's blocking the
hoping we'd
fact
have
that
a
Gia can
sidebar.
think. $35. Going once.
Hold on, I
Going
gotta look at how
twice.
much money I have.
You have $275 left, Taran. Going once.
Yeah, I'll go 40.
40 for Taran.
Wow, with $5 of his own money.
Going twice. Taran gets back-to-back picks here with $40 for yet another one-sided rivalry, but a little bit more new school for you, Taran.
Yeah, I needed some new school representation. I also think this one, for the audience, it's got a hint of the shippers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the wild shippers that are they love to vote on things. And if they see Liana and Xander, they're gonna be like, yes, keep it alive.
This does feel the most big brothery of like two young people that everyone just focuses too much attention on their every interaction because there must be something there.
Yeah.
I'm shook at my age because I was like, shippers, what do people like on boats have to do with this? And now I understand. Like genuinely, I was like, shippers. I almost had a sidebar with Omar.
I
Like,
don't know.
what is he
Xander
talking
kind of
about?
looks like he's lived on a schooner for like 6 years on and off.
Certainly in that photo.
You know, I will say I don't feel like this rivalry was appreciated as much as it should have been at the time this season was airing. I think people were very ungrateful for the one-liners that Liana would drop about Xander. And I think that, you know, this rivalry stands the test of time for me. It was a really good one. Would I have paid more than $40 for it? No. But it was it was a good way to kick off rivalries in the new era. So
Yeah,
very good pair here.
I'm inclined to agree, especially in the modern Survivor discourse of like, well, there are no villains anymore. I think we got a lot, some would say too much content of Liana just shit-talking Xander behind his back. And at the time, people are like, she's so disrespectful. But I think absence sort of makes the heart grow fonder. I think if you bring back this season nowadays, first, a lot of people would be confused by the order of things. But secondly, they'd be like, yes, we love Liana just giving it to this guy, even though he has no idea that he's being given to.
And we would
Well,
have
this
had a
is
lot more
also-
with 90 minutes.
This rivalry is also the reason that what is it? Knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
Thrives, right? Like if that goes differently, who knows?
Yeah, very true. Wise words.
All right. Well, let's move on here to another pair that had a difficult time at the merge proper. And we're not wrapping this thing up anytime soon, but one of these people certainly knows how to. Chris
Is
Noble.
that canon? Is that like an indication of what's to come?
I don't know. I don't know about that. Dominic and Chris Noble. Some would say arguably the climax of Survivor Ghost Island came when these two finally came to blows. Chris ends up getting voted out at the lone vote he is susceptible to, despite the fact he had an idol in his pocket at the merge, because there had been building for the entirety of the pre-merge, the rivalry between these two men that began on day one. I will start with $25 for Dominic and Chris.
Will you pay me $25?
Yeah, it's the -5 is back.
I'll do 20.
20 to Gia. All right, we'll start there. Going once? Going twice?
You guys have the money to start bidding her up. It can't be me every time.
Okay,
I have
stop.
the lowest amount.
Mike, it's been 3. It's sold, right?
Yeah, it's sold for $20.
Thank you.
Here's the thing. I actually believe having Chris on your roster reduces the value of the roster by more than $20.
No,
Chris Noble the
no.
lemon.
And let me listen. This is a rivals draft. I don't need to like the quality of the character for all of my rivals. I think this rivalry and throw in Wendell's confessional in there for a little extra.
Nah, Wendell's not a part of this.
You don't get Wendell.
No menage. She said no menage.
Strike that from the record to the jury.
The only side piece that Wendell's not involved in. No, it's just these two.
Oh.
I think this rivalry was a big part of Ghost Island. And Chris's boot episode is one of, if not the highlight of the season. And it was a really fun time there, especially because Dominic and Chris are two very big characters in this season. So I just think that this is, I think I got a steal for the $20 that I spent on this. I'm very happy with this choice.
Honestly, I don't disagree. I know that Ghost Island is not a very heralded season, but at the time, certainly, which was only about 5 years ago, this was the talk of the town and then some. Chris Noble, I think, sort of gets lost in the tests of time as just one of the cockiest Survivor characters out there. The man who, remember, thought it was a big secret to admit to people that he was a male model. Everything that had been built up to this point with this guy and just how much these two hated each other really came to blows here. I love the scene where Wendell's tries to be the mediator between them and it just doesn't work out whatsoever. Yes, it only lasted half the season to perhaps the criteria that Taran had mentioned beforehand, but what a half a season it was.
I do think that not every rivalry has to span the entire season because then it can just get kind of stale. I think it ended right when it needed to.
Yeah, but far be it from me to prop up Gia's team because we know what we're feeling towards one another right now. But I think this it was actually very beneficiary for Chris to vote for Dominic to win at the end. I thought that was interesting.
My issue with this rivalry is that when I saw Dominic, I was like, who's the other guy? Oh, right, it's Chris. They had a rivalry?
Oh, interesting. Okay, Chris, a little bit of a who's that from Taran.
I mean, I remember Chris. I just remember him for the bad rapping and for the Wendell goodbye message or whatever you call it in Survivor. And I don't remember him for his rivalry with Dominic, nor do I remember Dominic for his rivalry with Chris.
He's not remembered for as a credible threat or foe of Dom. So yeah. I agree. That's why I wouldn't even want him for $20.
But I don't need them to both be credible threats.
You don't need for me to your picks. You got me, I feel you. I agree.
I think totally this is a solid rivalry.
All right. Well, we talk about that rivalries don't need to last the entire season, but what about a rivalry that arguably inspired another season? Boston Rob and Russell Hantz. These two definitely did not work well together over the course of the Villains Tribe. Yes, it was a short-lived time they spent on the beach together, but it was Boston Rob's threat to kick your ass down the beach and back that brought them to the beaches of Nicaragua for Survivor Redemption Island. Now, again, we can talk about whether or not that was a good ending to the rivalry, but that magnanimity being said, I'm going to start the bidding for Boston Rob at Russell at $25.
I will split this one if I get Boston Rob.
Shane Gould did it better. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'll bid $25. I don't know if anyone's
right.
bid in that.
Allie's putting in the actual bids at $25 to start. Going
Allie,
once.
for all your talk about Chris Noble plummeting my stock, I'm shocked at this decision from you.
Going once.
I'll go 30.
I believe that was 3 seconds. That was way longer than 3 seconds.
I got $30 from
I wait
Taran.
for the 3. If he pauses, that's fair game.
Mike, we need you on here with the gabble.
Listen, I'm just making good TV here, so the bid is currently $30 from Taran. Going once.
I'll bid 35.
35 from Allie.
I'm not going to be able to bid her up anymore, guys. She wants it, I can tell.
Once.
I don't want it.
Twice.
I don't want it on the record that I bid for it.
All right. Gia has expunged her record, but Allie's is soaked in whatever cologne Russell is wearing in this picture. For $35, you have got the iconic pair of villains.
Hopefully the casuals are voting on the teams for Allie's sake.
So here's the thing. I didn't want this pair, but I'm happy to have it at 35. I would not have gone higher. Taran doesn't have to believe me on this bid.
Oh no, I just wanted them to bid.
Yeah. I just why not? It was free. I don't think their
keep saying free. I don't think that means what you think it means.
It's free. Free enough. Girl math. I don't think either of them. I'd probably rather have Lex and Boston Rob, and I'd probably rather have Russell and somebody else I think is going to show up. I think Gia used that earlier, which I think was a great point of if it's not the rivalry with the person I want, maybe I don't need them, but you're going to dangle probably one of the more iconic rivalries, even if not the best or one that any of us really want for $35.
I don't know about that.
I'll take it.
All right.
Yeah, this is just another one. It's just I mean, I think we all know, but it's just such a nothing rivalry. It was one interaction between the two of them, basically, and then they basically never interact again, even on the season that's them versus the other one. And I think that I think this will get some votes, but I also think some people will look at this and be like, ugh.
I do think it's a larger footprint than maybe the size shoe. That again. The big theme of that season was it's Boston Rob versus Russell. And that was a big thing for the season. We'd only had Stephanie versus Bobby John and that was even, again, less of a rivalry. This was really billed as these two guys coming back. Again, makes it ring a little bit more hollow in that it didn't really pan out that way whatsoever. And that Rob does take charge of his tribe and Russell very much not so. But considering that it did basically serve as one of the big talking points from the Heroes versus Villains reunion and did inspire a season of the show, which not a lot of these other rivalry pairs can say that they did.
It's also kind of giving a banana CT, and I would not equate them to banana CT. That's not the analogy I'm making, but in terms of they're not actually rivals, but they're rivals in terms of maybe in Russell's head only, but in general of a big name to come out of the show, a rivalry in that respect versus actual in-game rivalry. That said, and I'm very, very happy to walk with them for $35. But I would consider selling Boston Rob to Omar as requested for the right price.
Oh,
even though I don't agree with that, I don't think again, I'm not here for the audience vote.
I don't agree with it, but I can be bought.
No, I don't agree with the audience. I don't think the audience should look favorably upon having just one person on a Rivals draft board. But as I said, I'm not here for the win, so I would consider selling Boston Rob.
So if we split the players up, do we then are they just listed on our team as a one individual, or do we then have to pair them up with a rival?
No, I think they're just going to be a free agent.
I think if you do draft another single player that it applies, I don't see why you couldn't.
If you draft two single players, can you craft rivalries?
I think you should be able to do that.
Omar?
But that wouldn't even be my goal or agenda here. I just think it would be fun.
It would be fun. I would do it for $10.
I got to recoup more than, less than a third of my investment for 50%.
Boston Rob has a lot of good potential pairings. I feel like he's fairly valuable as an individual.
15.
Almost more valuable than just with Russell.
Omer suggested $15, Allie.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Oh, suddenly there you are with the counting now. Where were you before?
I'm making good TV. Allie
I'm just-
Mandel getting the call from the banker.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying I don't think production needed this rivalry to give Boston Rob another season. Like I think that they just wanted to do that anyway. So I don't think Russell did anything particularly iconic for this to happen. Obviously, this.
Oh, now you're talking.
I think they
After-
wanted
fan.
Russell back too.
And I think they had a convenient reason to bring them both back, but I don't think their rivalry is the real reason why that happened, because it's kind of a nothing rivalry.
I will give you just Boston Rob for $25.
I will have to hold, but I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's mull it over as we move on to our next item here. As we hear the plaintive conversations we have pierced in the night by the bellow of, "Who the hell voted for me?"
You said bellow?
I really-
Jeez.
Yes. I got so excited. This is
From
also
the
exciting.
recently dropped on Netflix Survivor Pearl Islands, Rupert Boneham and Johnny Fairplay. Once upon a time, Rupert said that Russell was worse than Johnny Fairplay, but let's talk about the original baddie who he went up against and who was responsible for his dreams getting crushed. I will start the bidding at $20 for Rupert and Johnny
20.
Fairplay. 20 to Omer.
25.
30.
25. 30 to Gia.
35.
35 to Omer.
40.
40 to Gia.
45.
45 to Omer.
50.
50 to Gia.
Who else is on Gia's team right now?
I will give you a reset after the draft.
Damn it.
I mean, after this.
After
this
the whole
game.
thing?
Yes, exactly.
Taryn, do something.
how about
I'm the
this?
least amount of money. Don't look at
Whoever
me.
wins this, I will tell just them a secret story about Rupert.
What the hell is this? Buy
If it goes, what's it at now?
$50 to Gia.
If it goes for more than $60.
Okay, so
And
Allie
it's a true
is
story.
adding on a secret story about Rupert for basically $10 more.
I'll do
Can I-
60 if Allie gives me $10.
No, I'm giving the story, and that's could be valuable.
All right, so it's $50 right now to Gia.
I believe it's been past 3 seconds. Also, I just
Going
wanted
once?
to-
He didn't call
Going
3
twice.
seconds.
Sold to Gia for $50 and no story.
Now no one will ever know that story.
It's lost. I'm throwing it in the fire. All right, Gia, talk to me about $50, half a hundo spent on Rupert and Johnny Fairplay. Why?
Listen, this is one of, if not the most iconic season. This is one of, if not the most iconic villain of the old school era. And Rupert Mania speaks for itself. Like, these are two of the most notorious characters. And I love nonsensical fighting. And Rupert being mad that someone voted him off on a season about, like, on a show about voting people off is so nonsensical. It's so stupid. And it's made for amazing television because it is these two people, because it's Rupert and Johnny Fairplay. And I just think them both on their own are iconic. So the fact that they also have this rivalry with each other is incredible television. It's hilarious. This no notes. This was a steal for 50, in my opinion.
Yeah, Omer,
Yeah,
you're
Omer
nodding your
let
head.
that
Do you
go.
agree?
It is a steal. I just can't with Rupert. I just can't. So I couldn't go more because I don't even like him.
I don't even
Even
like
as a
Rupert.
small child, I was like, he is so, everybody loves Rupert, but he's so entitled, kind of aggressive about it, and I don't appreciate that.
So your team Fairplay on this one?
I didn't say that.
That we all heard it.
I mean,
all
Rupert
heard
did
it.
threaten to wrangle Johnny Fairplay's neck like an effing chicken. So.
Like a chicken.
But and again, it's like in a fight where there is no winner. That's the best kind of rivalry
Oh,
because
yeah,
they're
yeah,
both
okay.
wrong in different ways. And it's fantastic. I am shocked that this didn't hit triple digits.
Give us the story, Allie. The chat is begging. They're
Maybe if I win, I'll release the story.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
there is
It
no
wasn't worth
story.
$10 to you. Is it worth buying what's his name? Boston Rob?
For
Because
$15.
I just honestly think it would be very iconic for me to just have like an egg like Russell sitting alone on my team of rivals.
I'll
Just
do
like,
it for 15.
20 in the story.
Taran, give me 5.
No.
Gia, give me 5.
Nope, it's not the panhandling, people.
Gia?
I've given
Gia?
you plenty
You're
of
paying the
bloody
5 for
content.
that story.
Okay,
No,
Gia.
No,
I
I'm
won't-
fine without the story.
All
Okay,
right.
no.
So
Gia, give me 5, and then I won't outbid you on Bruce and Katura.
I will believe you when we get to Bruce and Katura.
so just to
Okay,
read,
that
just,
would be
just
fascinating.
to give the rundown right now of where things are. So Taran's team is Shane and Courtney, Tyson and Sierra, Lex and Boston Rob, Shambo and Laura, and Liana and Xander.
Wow, he has a lot.
Allie's team is Abby Maria and RC, Jerry and Colby, and Boston Rob and Russell. Gia's team is Ben and Chrissy, Terry and Otis, Nayanka and Fabio, Dominic and Chris Noble, and Rupert and Johnny Fairplay. Omer's team is Spencer and Kass, Crystal and Randy, Kelly and Sue, and Nayanka and Kelly Bruno.
Who let Omer get such a good team? that's like a pretty big sleigh.
Well, you have a chance to make all of your teams a little bit better, but let's see how you'll do with another covered item. I'm going to start the bidding here
$25.
at $25.
$25.
Taran goes to 30.
$35.
35 to
40.
Omer. 40 to Gia.
$45.
45 to Omer.
50.
50 to Gia. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Gia for $50.
This is gonna be good.
It's gonna be Sandra.
Maybe.
That's what I'm hoping for. I
Well,
want a Sandra rivalry.
before we get there, pick another choice.
Oh my god.
So you can keep what you spend $50 on, or you can swap. You swap.
Swip.
What do you want to swap?
Swip? Do I want to swip or swap? Oh my god.
It's a
Now,
classic.
can someone
detour
buy the
choice.
other covered still for 50?
No.
Based because I'm asking. If Taran asked, would that be?
I could offer the other covered item, but I will set the price. I will use your learnings.
I
Well,
think-
no. Again,
wait,
my
wait.
issue there was the covered versus uncovered inconsistency.
Wait,
So
I have a
precedent
question.
would say that we should see it uncovered and then have the opportunity to pay $10 more for $60.
That's what I'm saying as well.
Okay, great.
Wait. Can I buy both for $100? Since
No.
I bet 50.
No,
Okay,
that's
fine.
not the game.
Fine.
Pick A,
Fine.
Gia.
I will. Okay.
Pick A.
Both. All right. I'm gonna explain my thinking real quick though. So I would say that the really good ones so far have been in A. So I think we're bound to get something really good in B. I could be wrong, but I'm gonna swap to B.
It was
You are
A.
going to be so sad.
I knew it. I knew it. What did I tell you?
You know what though? You know what? Anything. Katura is a star, and I love Bruce and Jake too. So this is not the loss that I thought that I think it is.
Keep telling
but
yourself
it's so
that.
sad. I'm very
This
sad
is not
about
the
that.
loss I think it is.
Okay. Okay. But I love Jake and Katura as well. So I'll take it.
All right. Whatever helps Gia sleep at night. Spend $50 to swap for Jake and Katura. Listen, I'll open it up.
60.
Elmer's going in for $60 on Bruce and Katura.
65.
Gia's
Hey,
going in for
I
65.
thought she's out of it now.
We're doing $5 increments on Bruce and Katura. What are we?
Yeah.
Children?
Well, I don't know, Taran. Do you want to
75.
put in a higher bid?
75 to Omer.
80.
80 to Gia.
100.
100 to Omer.
105.
105 to Gia.
120.
120 to Omer.
145.
145 to Gia.
150.
150 to Omer.
You know what? I don't feel like you want that Bruce and Katura as much as you say you do.
Okay.
Yes. But I will do 155.
That was awesome.
160.
175.
175.
180.
180. Going once. Going twice.
190.
Sold to Omer.
Oh!
She got it in.
That was under the buzzer. That was
It
it.
was under the buzzer. I'll count it. 190 to Gia Worthy.
195.
195 to Omer.
200.
205.
205 to Omer. Going once. Going twice.
I have a proposition.
No. Sold to Omer.
No, this was good. I'm sorry for trying to make a good podcast, Mike. But if they're both willing to give you 205, can you duplicate them and put them each have a Bruce and Katurah on their roster?
I'm not cloning. No cloning here. We're not.
That would be fun. Sorry for
We're anti-cloning on this podcast. I
Okay.
wanted the bidding war to happen. I want Omar to be left with $40 at the end of this, which he is after spending $205 on Bruce.
I won't get
Katurah.
Sandra, but it's okay because I got these two.
Oh my goodness. How are you feeling right now, Omar?
This rivalry is everything. You have something over, they're so petty with one another. It's great. But then when you dig a little bit deeper, there are other reasons for this rivalry. They go back and forth. Their games depend on each other, but they just cannot work together. There's little quips here and there. There's a wordless confessional. There is the fact that they could not vote for each other time after time after time after time until the night Katurah could not vote for Bruce until the night he went home, and that was well into the game. I thought that was iconic.
Yeah, Gia, how are you feeling right now?
Like shit, Mike. Thank you. But no, listen. Jake and Katurah are also such fun players, and the rivalry did last a little longer than Bruce and Katurah's, so underrated, I would say.
I agree.
But I love all of these characters, so I don't think this is like as bad of a swap as people want me to believe. But
you know how I feel right
Bruce
now?
and Katurah,
Bruce
I don't
in that
care.
picture.
Yeah.
Allie, let me also say,
But
no shade. I did love your cloning idea. I just know for the drama, it had to be an exclusive thing, one way or the other.
But
I stand by that if they were both at $40 over Bruce and Katurah, it would have been the best outcome of this draft. But I respect your authority as the host. I do want to say to Gia, like, I get it. I think certainly now with our short distance from this season, and I think even if we were further away from the season, Bruce and Katurah would still be here. But for the season, for like the arc of the season, honestly, I think Jake and Katurah's not everything, but a lot of what Omar said about Bruce and Katurah is true about Jake and Katurah, and actually, I think was the reason that neither of them really ended up having a fighting chance. I don't hate for $50. I don't hate that pick for you, especially given how high you got Bruce and Katurah to go for Omar.
But also, like, Omar and I were talking about just how amazing the Bruce and Katurah rivalry was in 45, and really just like in the Survivor canon. Like, it's an incredible duo. This was such a fun season, and I think this rivalry was incredible. So it does, even though I lost, it does make me happy that bid went for so high, because it feels like a full circle moment right now.
Truly. It's righteous.
All right. Well, after that spending spree on Bruce and Katurah, which I was so happy to see, let's move on, shall we? Now, Omar is near penniless at this point, but you still have $40. You could still maybe pick up a couple if you want to. Now, look, there was a lot of bitterness and saltiness that was left with the swap that Gia made. Can I offer you a little sugar in these trying times?
Ooh.
Sugar Kuiper and Corinne Kaplan, who I believe is celebrating a birthday today. Of course, another Survivor Gabon pair that definitely stood out in that final tribal council, with Corinne providing perhaps the most cutting final jury words that we have seen since the aforementioned Sue Hawk. I will start the bidding on Sugar and Corinne at $20.
I'll do 20.
I'll go to Taran first for 20.
25.
25 to Gia.
30.
30 to Allie. Going once. Going twice.
35.
35 to Gia.
40.
40 to Allie. Going once. Going twice.
45.
45 to Gia. Going once. Going twice.
50.
Sold.
Oh,
Under the wire. Allie to Lasher, $50.
Ooh.
Going once. Going twice. Sold to Allie for $50. Sugar and Corinne. All right, Allie, you got your Gabon on the board. What made you want to pick these two?
I mean, 50 was the max I was going to go, but it just felt like, wow, this is, again, I think of like, if you think of like the top 5, or my brain's mush. If I think of the top 5 Survivor rivalries, these ladies come up. Corinne's final tribal speech probably the most brutal delivered in a way that I don't necessarily agree with or embrace. But this is just such an iconic rivalry. Maybe they walked so RC and Abby Maria could run. I don't know. Like, I just kind of like, I've got Jerry Manthe, I've got Abby Maria, and I've got Corinne. Like, I've got all of these like iconic women that have some iconic rivalries. So I'm thrilled to add them.
Yeah. Gia, how are you feeling right now about Sugar and Corinne?
I lost another Gabon pair, but there's only a certain amount I was willing to the pick for this. It's a little more personable than I like in my Survivor rivalries, but it's still a good rivalry nonetheless. So I think that this is a good pick for Allie's team.
Well,
this is one where you're like, did we fly too close to the sun? You know?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
don't think
agree. It's I don't feel like I'm not celebrating it, but I think I'm happy with what I spent.
Well, I'm sure looking at your teams right now, you're all feeling like $1 million. But you know what would be better than $1 million?
Is it $2 million?
$1 million. And our next pair, Courtney and Jean Robert, the bad boy himself. From, of
$30.
course. All right, Omer starting a bid at $30 for Courtney and Jean Robert.
35.
$45, just so Omer can't bid again.
Oh, Gia closing Omer out for the first time this draft. $45 for Courtney and Jean Robert. 50 to Allie. Going once. Going twice. Another $50 bid for Allie Lasher. Back to back. Amassing some properties at this point with Courtney and Jean Robert.
I might have even got higher on this. Like, I actually think this is the highest pair on my draft board that I've gotten. Like, I'm very happy about this. Like, silk shirt, no underpants. It went from beginning to Jean Robert's end to the final tribal. There were sexist shit, and then Courtney triumphs. I love it. I think this is great.
Can you do an impression of a choking walrus, please?
No.
I believe it was someone. I think it was someone choking a walrus. Is the way that Courtney described it.
One of the best tribal council performances. Obviously, I think China's looked at as a great tribal council performance from the winner, but I like that Courtney looked Jean Robert in the face and was like, "Well, I beat you," so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So, to summarize, so for $50, I think I have different tastes in rivalries than my cohort here, but I'm thrilled with that.
No, I would have loved to go higher on this. I just don't have any money.
Yeah,
whose fault is that?
I do love it though, because it really is this guy coming in, and obviously Jean Robert had many cockamamie schemes of how to play Survivor, but one of them I think was very much feeling like he could literally throw his weight around and be like, well, she's the scrawniest girl, I'm the big alpha male of this tribe, James, move over, therefore she will bow to my every whim. And I love that she gave it back to him every time. When he admitted he was a bad boy, she laughed in his face multiple times. It really is a fantastic rivalry that, again, is this rare one that sees it through to the end. When, of course, as the picture denotes, she utters the iconic, "Did you win an immunity, Jean Robert?"
I wanted to be disliked in this social game, and in the back half, I was going to become very likable. I just didn't get there. I mean, that's kind of giving me. I love this.
All right, let's move on here. And you know what? I love the drama around the covered items. So how about another?
Ooh.
I will start the bidding on this one at to keep Omer in the picture, $20.
I'll do 10.
I'll do 15.
All right, Taran, we'll meet you at $15.
20.
20 to Gia.
25.
25 to Omer.
30.
30 to Gia. Going once.
35.
35 to Omer. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Omer.
Why did you guys give me this?
$35.
I wanted to see you have $5 next to on
This
your.
is gonna ruin my team.
Taran.
Who are you hoping is under there right now?
I'm hoping for Sandra and anyone, or Sandra and Parvati would be great. That would be a real steal. Candace versus Brad Culpepper. I'd take that too.
Mike, may I make an offer before you reveal? Obviously,
Please.
feel free to shut it down. For this item, Omer, I'll give you instead just Boston rum
Without seeing it?
without seeing it.
No, I'll take what it is.
He spent more on this than he would have for just.
It was worth a shot.
It is
Worth it
a shot.
always,
Yeah.
always. All right. Well, Omar, you only have $5 left, but with that $5, you'd be able to buy, I don't know, a can of beans, but you probably shouldn't eat them because somebody peed in them.
Oh no.
I bet you wish you had Boston rum now.
You got Philip Shepard and Brandon Hance.
He's crying for the audio. Glasses on forehead, full weep.
It's great too because I would have let you pay me to take them from you, but you don't have enough money for me to make that offer.
Oh my
Okay,
God. Yeah, suffice to say, this is a dud. IMO. Sorry to any Caramoan lovers out there, but this ain't it. This ain't it.
You little biatch, Mike. You said beans thinking that I would think it was Sandra because she is rice and beans. And now I'm pissed. But I should come over there and strangle you like Brandon was going to do
hold on.
Philip.
I'll give you a massage. It's okay. Calm down
Okay,
there.
yes. Massage me, please. But okay, so my thought here is Allie.
Mm.
You want some pea
know.
beans?
I know. I'm
Just
so
remember how
sorry.
much people hate Boston Rob when it comes to the
Here's the thing.
I love Boston Rob.
If
but
you
know
look up
people are
rivalry
annoying.
in the dictionary, hard to find a stronger one than this incident.
And it's an incident. It surely is.
On the plus side, it's not Dan and Kelly.
Yeah, that's
That's
very true.
something.
Listen, I drew a line there. Yeah, certainly some ones were let off the radar here.
All right. You know what? I have no further comments on the situation.
Homer, you were the author of your own fate, and this is the tale that was written for you as you are left with $5 right now.
Sasha's right. I am the guy on Squid Game that picked up the phone one too many times. You know what? I said I should never pick an uncovered item, and look where we are.
Well, listen, Omer, that initial, even though you settled into the acceptance part of the grieving process, you initially came to me with a little bit of anger, and to which I respond, I can get loud too, WTF. Sandra and Johnny Fairplay. Yes, Johnny Fairplay's popping up twice here with someone that he lasted all the way to the end with, and in fact, despite his promises, did vote to win the mill. I will start the bidding at $30 for Sandra and Johnny Fairplay.
30.
30 to Gia.
35.
35 to Taran.
40.
40 to Gia.
45.
45 to Taran.
50.
50 to Gia.
55.
55 to Taran.
60.
60 to Gia.
65.
65
70.
to Taran. Yeah, 70.
75.
75 to Taran.
80.
80 to Gia. All right, 80 to Gia right now.
85.
85 to Allie.
90.
Didn't I say 85?
Oh, you just say 85?
I
90
was
to
the
Gia.
fives.
There was a laugh behind it, so I wasn't sure if it was done in jest. 90 to Gia either way.
95.
95 to Taran.
100.
100 to Gia.
105.
105 to Taran.
120.
120 to Gia Worthy. Going once.
I'll give you, Taran, I'll give you $5 to take this plus Brandon and
I don't want Brandon, but I'll take the 5. I'll go 125.
125 for Taran.
130.
130 to Gia.
135.
135 to Taran.
Yeah, I'll give you $5 if you take
150.
150 to Gia.
Um,
Going once.
Can I ask
Going
a clarifying question? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Rules question. That last round where we can add whatever, does that cost money?
Yes, you are spending all your money on one last pair.
But what if you only have $5?
You're spending it
That
on one
feels
last pair.
targeted.
Okay. So what's the bid at right now?
150.
Okay. 155.
155 to Allie swooping in now.
160.
160 to Gia. Going once.
170.
170 to Allie. Going once.
180.
180 to
190.
Gia. 190 to Allie.
200.
All right, 200 again to Gia. Going once. Going twice. Sold to Gia. She got the 200 bid this time.
Yes! I
Sandra
was very excited.
and Johnny Fairplay are yours. How you
Oh.
feeling?
This is the one I wanted, and I would have bet all my money on this, honestly. But yeah, this was great. This was great. I'm so happy. I'm filled with joy. I don't even know who Bruce and Katora are anymore. It's just great. It's just a great, great feeling.
Gia with so much energy, she could wash a dish or even clean a fish. Allie, you were swooping in there with the bids towards the end. Was this the one to go in on?
Yeah, I think I want some money to make a fun pick at the end, but I was looking at my team and was like, I think smart play from Gia. This is an iconic rivalry. It was a meme before memes existed. Like it's incredible. So many great lines. Yeah, pre-meme. But so I was like, okay, if I could get Sandra and Johnny Fairplay and be down at 5, awesome. But I didn't, and so good play to Gia.
Yeah.
See, I think Gia wasted her money on Rupert and Johnny Fairplay when Sandra and Johnny Fairplay will always overshadow Rupert and Johnny Fairplay.
But she
No,
still got both.
I specifically wanted both of them. They're both good, but in different ways.
Yes, Gia now has 2 Johnny Fairplays on her team, which is arguably too many Johnny Fairplays.
I'm
All
so
right.
distressed that my keychain is stuck on my thumb.
All right, well, let's move on here. And Omar may be in distress, but you know who certainly was? 2 Southern men screaming at each other over the course of Survivor Guatemala. Bobby John and Jamie. I took this pick lovingly from Inside Survivor because I love the sepia tone, because I will say this is probably the most like Brokeback Mountain adjacent stuff we've gotten on Survivor, of like, these 2 guys did not know how to quit each other. They went from embittered rivals over the course of the pre-merge of Survivor Guatemala to yelling at each other Napoleon Dynamite style at the merge, to then being on the jury and becoming best friends, and also turning all of their attention onto how much they hate Stephanie. I will start the bidding on Bobby John and Jamie at $20.
Yeah, I'll do 20.
20 to Gia.
I have a piece of intel which may increase the stock value of this one.
Oh, is this a story?
One of them dated Nora.
See if you can guess which one.
Yeah.
All right, $20 to Gia.
And can you guess which one, Gia?
No, I can't. And now I'm afraid that if I guess the wrong one, everyone's gonna be like, "Are you dumb?"
All right, going once, going twice. Sold like a rolling boulder, Gia. It's that easy. You made back-to-back picks here, and these 2 lovely gentlemen are now at your disposal.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it Jamie?
Yeah. And that's
Okay.
probably how much money he spent on their date, too.
He was like a jet ski instructor, so yeah, I would not be surprised.
Not to be a pain in the ass, Mike.
Hmm?
Could I get a money calculation confirmation?
Sure. Why is that?
Because I think I might have an error.
Okay, let's see. Gia, talk about how much you love Bobby John and Jamie while I do some math here.
I think Survivor Guatemala as a whole, despite being incredibly undiverse and usually not my vibe, is a very underrated season. It's very funny. There's a lot of comedic moments. The idol is definitely on the ground, just is permanently embedded in my brain. And it is just so good overall. And I think like this, Mike already kind of explained kind of like the ups and downs of the Bobby John and Jamie rivalry, but it's like there's just a full story in there. And while some of the other rivalries that we got have like these big arcs, usually it spans across multiple seasons. And this all happened in one 39-day period, and not even the full 39 days because they both don't make it to the end. So I just think like, I think they're both on the jury though. And they have their broship there as well. And it's just very good. It's just very good television for me, especially when since Bobby John is like one of the forgetful returning players, he's got like new life in this game. So I just think that this is
Who
incredible.
was your first draft pick, Gia, that you won?
It was Ben and Chrissy.
Okay, so we called out Taran's false strategy early on, and I think we should call out Gia's now. Oh, Guatemala doesn't have that much diversity, not your vibe. Okay, Bobby John, Jamie, Rupert, Johnny Fairplay, Chrissy, Ben.
Hey, Nyanka, wait, hold on. First of all,
Are we doing a
he got-
DEI
I'm sorry.
check on Gia's team?
I'm sorry. It does not. I regret to inform everyone. It does not pass the diversity quota of the new era. However, we have Nyanka, we have Katora, and we have Sandra. And
Is that it?
Yes. And I will be seeing. What was that?
It's less than 50.
Well, if someone let me have Bruce and Katora, then we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we, Omar?
You let him take it.
I did not let him take it. I worked very hard
You
to
had more
not let
money.
him have it. I did, but I knew that Sandra was coming up, so I wasn't willing to bet all my money on it. And then if I did that, then I wouldn't get Sandra. So it's
Well,
like
I'm sure you're about to buy Russell and Ben Browning too.
I would
so-
never.
See, this is my thing for Guatemala is that like Bobby John and Jamie, it's just like alpha bros like puffing their chest and almost kissing is just like not my thing. I'm way more of a Brian and Blake kind of rivalry kind of guy.
Who? I'm just kidding. I know who they are. But
Yeah. I think we go from bait Blake to master, you know the rest. All right, so let's move on here to our next group. And Allie, I did do some math, so I believe you so far I've spent $305. Which
I put Jerry at 105. That might be my error.
Yeah, 115 was Jerry and Colby.
Many thanks.
That's also saying that Gia has too much money.
Gia has $20.
Supposed to have 15 according to that.
it's too much, Mike. I have simply too much.
All right, let's move on here to our next duo. Or will we? It's another covered item. To keep Omar in the competition, I will start it at $5.
Can we start it at 1?
Wait, can we wait?
I'll start it at 5.
Can I wait? Can Omar and I split it for $15?
So you are willing to pool together $15.
20.
If
There we go.
Never mind.
That's the nonsense. $20 to Allie.
Omar, do you want to split? You want to do 25?
25.
Never
25 to Taran.
We're out.
Never mind. We tried. We almost had our rivalry is coming full circle and coming
It
together.
is true.
Yeah, I didn't want that.
Taran and Allie ruined it. It's fine.
All right, $25 to Taran. Going once.
I guess 30.
30 to Allie. Going once. Going twice.
I'll do 35.
35 to Taran. Going once.
You could have it.
Going
I'm
twice.
adverse to this. Is my first bid on a covered item.
Sold to Taran. Thank you for
Not
taking the
cool.
plunge, Allie, a la Survivor 44, even if your plunge ended up going the style of Matthew. So $35 to Taran right now, leaving you at a cool 200. And
Is it something good, Mike?
well, it'll make someone else on the panel not feel good. So I don't know if that's good for you. But
Is it me?
no, it's Omar. He missed out on bidding on.
Oh, this is a good one.
Tori and Roxroy from
I
Survivor
am-
42.
I'm devastated.
No, I'm
right
sending
now.
a picture to Tori right now.
Oh my god, yes. So these two, of course, did not get off on the right foot, suffice it to say, and never really were on the same foot concerning the different paths that they trod. Ironically enough, got voted out back-to-back in Survivor 42. But yeah, certainly a lot of conflict going on between Tori and Roxroy throughout their time on season 42.
To
I
be
mean,
fair,
you guys
he
don't have
tried to
any
help
money
her.
to offer me, but you do have rivalries.
Yeah, do you want
Give me
Brandon and
offers.
Philip? Taran, I'll give you. Okay, I'll tell you what, Taran. I will give
Oh.
you Brandon and Philip and
No.
the $5.
That's
Taran,
less than $5 of value.
Taran, do you want Ben and Chrissy?
No.
Damn it. Okay, never
Well,
mind.
okay. Well, what do you want, Taran? Just tell us.
I don't think
I can't
Taran
remember all
wants
of your
Tori and
teams.
Roxroy. So I think this is a bluff.
You think it's a bluff?
All right.
I don't. It doesn't sound like you guys are willing to offer me what I would need.
You want
so I think
Dominic
we're-
and Chris?
No.
Okay, well then I can't work
Do you
with
want
you. then.
Nyanka and Kelly Bruno's leg?
No.
Do you want Kelly Bruno's leg?
Yes,
Omer
but
selling
not for
Kelly
this.
Bruno's leg.
He's
Yeah.
not willing to give up Kelly Bruno though.
Okay,
So-
do you want Sue and Kelly?
Ooh. Okay. Now.
No.
Now.
That's
we're talking.
crazy. Okay, good. I was
Yeah.
like, I have to intervene.
Well, Omer, give me your thoughts here. Unfortunately, you were outbid on this, but considering you experienced this firsthand for a brief portion of time, your thoughts on Tori and Roxroy as a
This
rivals
was
pair?
so entertaining, so fun to watch in person. I was gagged when because I hadn't met Roxroy. He was on Exile Island, but the way she would talk about him, like get firewood, do this, do that, and then the first interaction I have with them is her gaslighting him to be like, why did you give up your immunity? We were trying to send you for something good. But Roxroy actually did try to look out for Tori on many occasions strategically. He just did it in a lot of weird riddles. So
Gollum.
nobody really understood what he was saying. So it was a rivalry for the books. But then they loved each other in Ponderosa. So
There you go. All's well that ends well. Taran, how are you feeling right now? Again, you've gotten now, I think both new era rivalries have fallen into your lap.
I feel good. I think this was a great get for 35. And I'm happy.
All right. Well, let's see if the money will keep on rolling as we move into a rivalry that rolled over into another season. We go from Roxroy to Eating Rocks, Francesca and Philip.
Can
The
I swap
rivalry's
Brandon
so
for
nice, he
Francesca?
voted her out twice. I will
Ooh.
start the bidding. Sorry, Omer, at $20 for Francesca and Philip.
$20.
20 to Allie. Going once.
I feel
Gia,
like
let's do
I-
20.
oh wait, what? No,
I was
I
gonna say
feel
let's do
like
25.
I feel like I am owed $20 because just that I wouldn't pay for this.
Why not?
What?
I don't know. It's fine, but it's
Because
just,
you
it's not-
wouldn't pay for this. You want me to give you $20?
Yes, I was very excited after Tori and Roxroy, and then it was the hype was not held up.
All right, so it's $20 right now to Allie Lasher.
Taryn, come
don't
Going
on.
want
once, going twice. All right, Allie's got it for $20. I think this
When
is
I
a bit
tell
of a steal.
you that this was the number one pair that I wanted, I would have paid. I almost just said 190. Just like out of the gut. I
Whoa!
cannot believe that you wouldn't bid $25.
There's I would not
on
risk
Francesca.
$5 to
I
take
would
this.
not.
Okay, first of all, I have been stumping, and I know this isn't exactly the same. So no, you're not saying you don't stump for Franny by not bidding, but Franny is one of my all-time favorite Survivor players, and that's like
Wow.
slightly biased, but I think that Franny is like, she had to go first both rounds, or she would have absolutely won the game. She is like the most magnetic person. I'm a big fan on Twitter. Anyway, I love Franny. It's complete bullshit from Philip and disrespect that carries over 2 seasons. She's so unfairly treated. So I understand not wanting them on your team.
Yeah.
But my God, when you think of a stupid, ridiculous rival with unbelievable consequences to Franny's games, both of them, just dropped a headphone. I'm so excited. For $20, I am so excited. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, because
Woo!
it's actually a 3-for-1. You get Francesca, Philip, and Francesca as well.
Francesca. Oh my God, I'm sweating.
Yeah,
Honestly,
Allie's
I
mouth is going dry
considered-
right now.
I considered being like, should I try to get Philip and Brandon to get Philip? Because then I have half of the pair in case they don't show up here. But how could they not show up here? I'm floored. I'm floored.
Yeah, Gia, what made you say like you were out automatically when these two popped up? Because you could have gone all in theoretically.
I guess I could have, but I asked the Mike White question: is it fun? And this is not fun to me. For a lot of the reasons Allie had already said about maybe why this would not be a fun pick. I can totally understand why someone would want this. It is not for me. I think that, like, while I love Francesca, seeing her go first both times she played for really stupid reasons is just not a good time for me personally.
Yeah, I co-signed that. That's why I didn't want it.
Yeah.
But Allie, okay, so Allie, like, just hear me out. So, sidebar, I think that this is an interesting position now that you have Francesca and Philip, because what's interesting is that Brandon actually played with both of them on Caramoan, and he was actually really good friends with Francesca, and that it was actually that moment where Philip blindsided Brandon on the Francesca vote that really sent Philip or Brandon off of Philip, that set in motion another beautiful rivalry. So wouldn't it be interesting if you completed your team with also Brandon and Philip, and you could just have them? Like, I don't need anything in return.
No,
Out of
that's
the
so
goodness of
generous
your
of
heart?
you. That's so
Yeah.
generous of
Wow.
you. And
Mother
while
Teresa.
it would be an incredible party on my list to have Corinne, Francesca, Philip, and Brandon hands. I am gonna have to pass because my motivations for picking this rivalry here is really more of a pro French, an homage to Francesca. And I feel like if I bring in Brandon, it's more of a pro Philip
No, because
situation.
Brandon
So
was
I just
pro
have to keep.
Francesca. Remember that.
I'm just Brandon's just not invited to this particular
Homer,
party, but maybe in
she
the
just couldn't
future.
do it free. She can't take that from you. It was a very generous offer, but she's too kind. She's not going to say it this way because you don't want to feel pitied. But like, she can't just take your most prized possession.
Well, let's see if Omar can offload that onto somebody else. But let's move on to maybe less awkward things. Just kidding. It's still fairly awkward. Eliza and Twyla from Survivor Vanuatu, Gia. I will start the bidding at $20.
I hate my life. Oh my god.
What do you want to bid for $20?
$20.
25.
Oh, I'm shocked.
$25 to Allie.
I don't regret my choices, but I regret them a little bit right now.
I'll go 30.
30 to Taran.
Yeah, 35. I mean, is this boring? I'll just go to 50.
All right, Allie jumps up to 50. Going once.
All right, I'll give it to you for 50.
Nice.
$50.
I've got
Allie
on 50 is
Lasher.
my sweet spot.
There you go. You are Miss 50 right now. Eliza and Twyla. Another set of back-to-back picks here. What made you so invested in this twosome from Vanuatu?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with the Corinne and Sugar. And if I had Kelly and Sue, like, I'd really have the trifecta of like awful jury speeches. I don't think Eliza like looks good in this season. Again, it's like I understand why. Well, I don't know what Taran would have taken it for, but it's not necessarily the most fun. Like, your deceptive lying bitch is like pretty aggressive. Probably wouldn't fly in the modern era. But you want to talk about rivalries. And what I love about this from Twyla is like Eliza says, my question is, would you apologize to me? Like, apologize to me. And Twyla's like, why would I apologize for how you feel? like that's iconic. Like, that is the rivalry. I think Twyla's like matching that energy sort of makes it less vitriolic and less like upsetting.
Oh, they both.
I'm
went
living
it
for it.
better. You know, they were not afraid to sling mud.
Yeah, and they've been doing it since the very beginning. Like, this was one of those episode 1. These two just got on like oil and water, and it just continued through the fact that they worked together for a brief portion of time, and then they very much separated. Like you said, the Twyla's a deceptive lying bitch comment, and I believe in her jury speech, I think Eliza said something along the lines of, I might envy your position in the final 2, but I do not envy your life.
Yeah, that is unbelievable.
Taran, how much were you willing to go in on Eliza and Twyla, or were you gouging?
No, I wanted them. I think they're a great rivalry. I just I don't know how much what we've got left, but I just want to make sure I've got enough.
All right, well, maybe you have enough for a covered item.
Ooh.
I'll have everybody in this game. I'll start at the bidding at $5.
I'll go 5.
$5.
All right, 5 to I'll give it to Taran first.
Look, Omar, if you want a bid of $5, you got to be quick because I'm not gonna let you get it easy.
$10.
10 to Gia.
I'll go 20.
20 to Taran.
20 in Ben and Chrissy.
25 to Allie.
I'll go 30.
30 to
You can have
Taran.
it for 30. I really don't want the covered items.
All right, 30 to Taran.
Mike,
Oh,
is it good?
Might be.
Ooh.
A or B, Taran? What are you gonna pick?
I needed an answer I could read because I read you on the A one last time and you didn't give
Mhm.
me anything this time.
Nope, I'm that Kindle that you can get a free sample of, but I ain't going no further.
Um,
Not Google Books.
all right, I'm gonna go off of the previous logic I used to pick A, and I'm gonna pick B.
You probably shouldn't have done that.
Oh,
Yowza.
Taran swapped out Sugar and Randy and got Will and Shireen from Survivor Worlds
Suddenly,
Apart.
Brandon and Philip ain't looking so bad.
I'll do $20 for Sugar and Randy.
All right, well let's start. I want to start with the Will and Shireen of it all. Taran, your reaction to this?
you know what? This is actually not that bad. I get Shireen, which I think is fantastic. And I think that like you know, I also have the GIF, the GIF of Will falling down the slide. So you know, I feel like not that bad.
It's true. You get Will, you get everything that comes with him, dead fish and all. Now, I do believe there was a bid on Sugar and Randy, like a nice plate of cookies. Gia said $20. Does anybody want to challenge that?
Yeah, 25.
25 to Taran.
It's not fun when you're poor.
I think that's what we call a life lesson to coach them pros.
Gia,
What
we
was the
should have
bid?
done that to each other.
I believe it's $25 from Taran.
Someone should not have bet so much money on Bruce and Katora.
You know
when I
what? In
wanted them.
hindsight, we should
I'll
have
bid
actually
30.
played a random game.
$30 to Allie.
I'm at 30. Keep my little squad together. Of my squad of terror.
I'll go 40.
40 to Taran.
What did he pay for the covered item?
He paid $30.
All right, I'll allow it. On principle, I just couldn't let it go for
Yeah.
more than the covered item.
All right,
I'm
so
out.
Taran, you have spent a total of $70 on Will and Shireen, but you also get Sugar and Randy as well. So you are far from a la hooser, as Sugar would say.
Okay, so
I do
Taran,
feel like that devalues Corinne and Sugar on my team.
I agree.
So I was hoping Sugar and Randy would not appear here, but
I
Fair
could
play.
get all permutations of like the Sugar, Randy, Corinne, Crystal quadrangle of negativity.
it had to be there. But Taran, what's interesting is that on Survivor South Pacific and perhaps even Caramoan, Brandon Hance was citing Randy Bailey as his favorite player. So I think this is an interesting opportunity to consider the full circle moment and taking those two as well, you know?
Omar, will you trade me $5 and Philip or Will?
So
Listen. Here's the rationale. It will neutralize both rivalries. The negative points we get will be neutralized by taking out one of each
And
person.
you take Brandon and I'll take Shireen.
No. Listen, you know what you have and I know what I have. And Shireen is the most valuable player on this board.
I am trying to actually do you a favor by connecting these two players, Randy and Brandon, but that's fine. I'm trying to be a philanthropist, but none of you see the value.
All right, look,
like
we
a
can come back to
philanthropist when
this
you're
later.
like sitting on a well that's like bringing up like, I don't know, bubbling poop instead of oil. You're like, oh, this property is great though. Yeah, I
They
think
said
you should.
Brandon would have won South Pacific had he made it to the end.
Yeah, it tells you a lot about
But he
self-
didn't.
there's like a lot of potential for like an exciting like four-way trade of just single players. You know, don't forget about Boston Rob.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh,
forget,
yeah, yeah.
in the
Austin
mix.
Rob's still out there like he always is.
Because again, an inside joke with myself. The audience, you know, who votes without listening, because that's like a classic Twitter poll move, like will not understand. Even the listeners probably won't understand why I just personally think it would be so funny
Okay,
to just have
Allie,
a big matzo ball on my board.
I have an offer for you. I will
Oh.
trade you Will for Boston Rob.
no, because then
I
I've
have
got
a
two
counter-
matzo balls sitting on my board.
I have
That's
a
not
counter
helpful.
offer.
They gotta
That would be
switch it
really
on.
funny if we both just had.
We don't
I'll
have
have
the
a
same sense of
counteroffer.
humor, Taran. You know, it's just.
I will take Boston Rob, and you can take either Philip or Brandon.
Yeah, no.
Pair up
Wouldn't it be
Brandon
funny
and
to have
Russell.
Philip and Francesca.
Two times Philip. Yeah, again,
That's
it's really
so
just
funny.
moving where
And
the
the
pros
prize
go.
Brandon and Boston Rob together. That's hilarious. We're doing it for the meme, right?
I don't know about that.
All
All
right,
right.
what's the next item?
Next one. Let's talk about enemies turned friends? Question mark. Adam and
Oh,
Jay
that's a good one.
from Survivor Millennials versus Gen X, working together on very separate sides, even through Jay's vote out, yet came to a mutual understanding, obviously, when Adam reveals his big secret to Jay. I'll start the bidding at $20 on these two.
I'll bid $20.
All right, 20 to Allie. Going once.
Gia, these two are
twice.
lowballing each other.
I know, right?
All right, sold to Allie Lasher.
When I
Taking
tell
home-
you that I lied before and truly Adam and Jay were my actual number one, I didn't think they were going to show up here and I was going to use my random pick at the end on Adam and Jay. Probably another emotional pick, but I am thrilled.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really rare pair because this is maybe it's like in the tone of Millennials versus Gen X, what people say is maybe a bit too congenial for the vitriol that we're to expect from these rivalries. But this is arguably the most vitriolic pair that existed this season, where the two of them just really were never on the same page. And then you have the pictured moment right here of that beautiful hammock scene where they're like, dude, I get you, bro, but we're still not going to work together.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
So, this was like, I always say, like, Adam's the only survivor I ever wrote like a personal note to. I have told this story on podcast before, but
How much did they pay for it?
no one had to pay for this. My dad passed away from cancer the year prior to this season, and watching this was really personal to me, really cathartic, really unbelievable to just like see Adam go through this. And in this, I rewatched this scene actually in preparation for this podcast of like, what Jay goes through with his mom and what Adam shares. It's really unbelievable. And the fact that the foundation of this conversation is not between two like close allies, but between two frenemies. It's just, these were the two I was talking about when I said I wanted like a diversity of the types of rivalries. These are the frenemies. These are the, game recognized game, like respect each other, but completely gun for each other. Sometimes just completely in the open. I love this duo. $20. Again, that's free 99. Like, I feel like I would have paid so much more. I considered even saying, Taran, remember that $5? Like, would you just let me have it for 125? But I understand why, if I wasn't probably exactly me, I probably wouldn't have been willing to bid so much for them. So, and my challenge guy in Jay. So
yeah, it's really a beautiful
there.
connection for you. And like it came to you for a reason. Anybody else have anything they want to chime in about with Adam and Jay?
I think it's great. I would have bid more, but we're starting to get real low on money here. So
Who's
I
we,
colluded with Taran
Taran?
before.
What do you mean
I
we
messaged
are
Taran
getting
before.
low on money?
yeah, me and Allie. Wait, you guys are still here?
Like I said, I'm often in the same company as Taran. People often confuse us and our bank accounts here as well.
Well, listen, I can say that this auction is over, but I think someone would respond by saying, he's a stupid ass. Let's keep going. Sandra,
$20.
$20. Gia Worthy for Sandra and Russell.
25.
I'm
Taran, there we go. $25.
For
Shuts
some
her out of
spiciness, I feel like there should be some offerings if people are interested in like all of your money and another pair to stop bidding so you can have it for not all your money, but so that you could bid $20 and keep us quiet. Nobody's trying to pay us off.
Yeah, you could do that if you wanted to.
None of the pairs that I'm interested in giving you, I think you are willing to give up for Sandra and Russell and $20.
I mean, French, my top two pairs that I wanted were on nobody else's draft board. So you never know with me.
I mean, I will do $5 and Brandon and Philip.
That's his best offer, and that's saying something.
And Kelly Bruno's leg. I'll do that.
All right, start the count.
All right, $25 to Taran Armstrong going once.
Yeah, 30.
30 to Allie.
Thank you, Allie.
Going once.
Painful to watch.
Going twice.
How is this not going for more?
35.
$30.
35 to Taran.
50.
50 to Allie. Jump it up. Going once. Going twice.
55.
55,
60.
60 to Allie.
Can I ask how the end game works again?
At the end game, you'll each be given an opportunity to use all your money to put in all your funds on one pair that is off of our draft board.
Okay.
So you just get the person automatically if you have any money left.
I think we should have a
Or-
stipulation though, where we can't pick a rivalry that has a pair, somebody in the pair that's already been drafted.
Well,
Well,
considering
that's
that we already have people that are
very
drafted in
difficult.
multiple rivalries, unless
I
you
thought
just,
it.
I know
Because
Brent-
it's
So
so easy to like pull Sandra and XYZ, ABCDEFG, you know?
yeah, but you could argue that her strongest rivalries have been taken by other teams.
All
And I'm sorry,
Uh,
Mike. So you're putting someone up for bid basically with your remaining money, or you just get them with the money?
So it depends. We're going to start with Omer, assumingly, who would have the lowest amount of money, and he can put someone up for $5. And if someone else wants to outbid him, they can, but it would be for all their money. You're
Got it.
each getting one last gasp pick, in a manner of speaking.
Perfect. That
And it,
does
it
make
could
a
be
lot of
yours,
sense.
it could be somebody else's. So again, I believe it's $55 to Taran.
Allie
to
can
Allie,
have this
Allie.
money.
Okay, Allie,
Great.
$55. Sandra and Russell, I think, walking away with some nice steals here at the end.
And with that, Boston Rob is no longer available to trade because I do feel like I have the bookends of Russell and Boston Rob and Sandra and Russell, and that's like
Okay, well, you were never going to take Brandon or Philip for
no, but
Boston
I
Rob.
was gonna take like probably $20 a while ago. But I get it. Like now I feel like I need both. I need all three of them.
Yeah, you have the villains trio right now in Sandra and Russell. I mean, all money not considered. Gia, thoughts about Sandra and Russell as an iconic rivalry?
Oh, this is such a good one. You know, like I'm a little bitter that I don't get them, but I know it's the consequences of my own actions and I accept that. But this one is so good. It has led to so many amazing iconic moments on Sandra's end, I might add. And I just think it's an incredible it's the same thing as Sandra and Johnny Fairplay. You have like a big villain on a very revered season, and you have Sandra who is there to call them out on their crap. And I think that is beautiful. It is a tried and true method, so why not have both shining examples of that in this draft? I think like this, they're both just perfect rivalries that lead to Sandra winning money, and I just think that's amazing.
That's true. Omer, between Sandra and Russell and Sandra and Johnny Fairplay, again, price tag notwithstanding, which do you think is the more iconic rivalry?
Ooh, it's a good question, but I do have to go with Sandra and Russell because, I mean, Sandra and Fairplay was great, but then at the end of the day, Russell was such a big part of Survivor, and it was so delicious to see him lose to her. And the fact that it was her second time win, I do think amplifies that a little bit.
Well, Allie just burned her money like Russell's hat in the fire, but arguably, like Sandra did, it was for a good cause, as she has acquired Sandra and Russell, the official last item up for bidding. And so we move to the aforementioned round that I like to call the clean out. Once again, here's how this is going to work. You will each have one last chance to bid all of your money on one pair of rivals that was not drafted tonight. Anything from any of the prior 45 seasons of Survivor. We'll start with Omer as the lowest bidder. So theoretically, one of you could outbid Omer, but you would be spending all your money, and then Omer will get to make another nomination with his $5 pick. So,
Okay.
Omer, I'll start with you. What pair do you want to spend your remaining $5 on?
I think I have 3 or 4 in particular that I'm thinking of, but it's so annoying because I shouldn't have spent so much money because I know this one's going to get taken away, but I have to try. Sandra and Parvati.
That's
Yeah, I
me.
want Sandra and Parvati.
Well,
That's me.
Taran, yeah, so Taran's taking that. She's spending the full 130 on Sandra and Parvati.
Oh, so that's how it works. So it's just
Yeah,
Got
it's,
it.
you're getting one last pair no matter what.
Beautiful.
So Taran's putting all 130 in, officially bankrupting him. Thoughts on the steal here, Taran?
I spent the entire last like hour and 20 minutes waiting to get this pair, making sure I had the most amount of money the whole way through so I could get Sandra and Parvati. They are the rivalry of the moment. They are the two queens of Survivor. They are both currently playing on the Traitors together. It's you can't get better than Parvati and Sandra right now.
All right, Omer, let's go into your backpack a bit. You said you had 3 or 4 pairs you were mulling between. Give another one that you want to spend your $5 on.
I'm gonna have to go with Leaf and Tarzan. No. So one I was thinking of was Jenna and Christy, but I'm not gonna go with that. You know what? I'm gonna go with the heart pick on this one. It's either Parvati and Jonathan, or Candace and Jonathan, or Candace and Brad Culpepper. And I'm going to go with Candace and Brad Culpepper.
Okay, going with the most recent one in Blood versus Water. Anyone saying F you to Omer's bid right now, or can he have it for $5?
I think that's a very underrated one. But I am not taking that one. So I think it's a very good pick.
All right, congratulations, Omer. You got a foot long, you got a Culpepper, and you got a woodcock, which is also maybe a foot long, in the form of Brad and Candace. Gia, I'll go to you next as the least amount remaining. With $20, what do you want to buy?
Okay, I went back and forth during this from 2 of them that I was pretty sure was not going to be here, but so I was wavering back between 2 of them that I think are very good and kind of forgotten in time. I was thinking Sean Rector and John Carroll, because that was just I think that is just it is a fantastic buildup and leads to one of the greatest episodes of all time, in my opinion. But I am a Fiji girly, and I feel like I am going to be remiss if I don't pick Dreams in Yowman, because I rewatched it recently. The car deal is the big thing, but once the merge hits, there are these little pieces in there that really show Dreams and Yowman are really competing for that 3rd spot, and the car deal is kind of a result of Yowman trying to get the 3rd spot in the finals from Dreams, because Earl and Cassandra were always going to be in 2 of those places because they both played fantastic games. And so I think I'm going to go with Dreams and Yowman on this one. I think they're both really strong ones, and I kind of wish I could take both, but I feel like something's missing if I don't put a Survivor Fiji pair in here for me. Yeah. And now my diversity quota is up now, in case anybody was concerned.
It's not 50-50.
If that had come up, it might have bankrupted me. This is a great one.
So I could take that.
You could if you want.
I just am truly moved by how little concern Gia seems to have that I'm going to. And I really respect that. So I'm not taking it.
Thank you.
I will leave the finalist as is. Great pick, of course. An iconic moment.
Agreed. Yeah, so she's letting it lie like Dreams let the immunity necklace lie on those stumps when he left it after the final 4.
Wasn't that such a dramatic shot at the end? Or just like leave the little necklace of tusks there after just this monumental move has been made.
Allie, bring us home here. You are the last with funds remaining. You can spend it on whomever you want.
So I'm honestly moved by myself also at this moment, because I, like Niecy Nash, have to just say,
it really inspired myself in the last year.
I, like Niecy Nash, have to say, I really did this. But I honestly have almost nobody else that I even want to take. And not that I have everyone I wanted. A lot of you have a lot of people I wanted. The only person that group that remains from my pairing that remains from like the color-coded list that I wanted are Alicia and Kimmy. That I will always wave my finger in your face. Alicia? Why is my brain broken? Okay, Alicia. Sorry.
There was an Alicia and then there was an Alicia, so it makes sense.
But unless my picks are gonna get rejected as invalid entries, I'm not gonna pick them. That's my backup pick if Mike rejects it. My list, when I thought we were coming in here with our own draft boards, was filled with bullshit. So I really wanted like Shamar versus A Grain of Sand, Joe Del Campo versus Meat. Like those are really up there. I don't have a lot of recent stuff on my board. So I would like to take Recency Bias Be Damned for $50. Jeff Probst versus The Bag of Rice. in season 45.
I thought
that
you were going
allowed?
to say,
I will allow it
I
if
think we have
everyone
to-
else does.
I think we have to veto this because
I-
I really
Don't
thought you
hate
were
that
gonna
I'm more
say-
creative than you, Taran, you know?
no, listen, my custom pick would have been Angie and the cookie
But you didn't
Mm.
try. But you didn't try it.
because we asked specifically and he said no multiple times.
When did you I didn't hear that.
We asked,
He
we
said
asked if it could
Yeah.
be, if it had to be humans, and then I asked if we could pair up single players with nonsense, and he said no.
Oh, I wasn't listening to that. Mike now says he would allow it. So I just gave
I would
gave
if
you
ever-
Taran, I gave you $5 expecting nothing in return. Yeah, I let you have Yaman and Dreams also expecting nothing in return. I did
I
not
will
take-
change my answer
Well,
to a
I
yes
had
if
a
you take
backup
Will
if
and
you
Shireen.
took-
You love
Yes, I will
nonsense
take it
just-
I
if
was
you.
I was
If you
going
take
to say,
Philip.
threatened by me. Come on. Nobody cares that I have
I
this. The
thought-
audience does not care.
I thought you were going to say Jeff Probst versus Danny McRae, which would have been so iconic of a pick.
Or Danny versus the Hourglass.
Or Danny versus the Hourglass also.
But I
would have
said
been
what
a
I
great
said,
pick.
and so because it was the worst pick you guys can imagine, I think you just have to let me have it. You
Here's
know?
No.
here's what I will say. She will auto win the audience vote with a funny pick like that.
I don't think that's true.
I want you to take Brandon, and then you can have my vote. Otherwise, I am voting no.
That's dark because I feel like I've supported all three of you here. I'm just out of the goodness of my heart, and I'm not getting that love. So maybe we all are truly rivals.
Wow,
Take
I think
Brandon.
that's the
and
lesson
I'll
we
vote
gave to.
no.
Will you take Will and Shireen?
My vote can
You
be.
guys are
gone.
all bitter Betties that you voted for covered things. I outplayed you like
Listen,
Courtney to John
listen,
Robert.
It's
I
an
outlasted you.
offer.
I
We are
outplayed
offering
you.
you want something from us. We are offering something in exchange.
I don't think that the audience will look favorably on the three of you. Well, not Gia, because I don't know where she stands at this moment. But
Where does
the
Gia
two
stand,
of
actually?
you,
We need to get
particularly
a reading on
Taran,
this.
after I gave you $5 for no reason, coming at me this hard over a bag of rice, which all of you thought I was going to say something better and funnier, which I did
No,
not.
that's actually way funnier than mine. I love Jeff Probst versus a bag of rice.
I mean, it was incredible.
I'm also tempted then to decline the extra pick for spite, put spite and $50 on my board because I couldn't get what I wanted. And then you tell me how the audience will respond.
So just to clarify, you would want to just write in a write-in candidate of spite and $50.
Yeah, me and everybody else on here are humans, so put us all on here as my last rival pick.
To be
for
clear,
$50.
we have offered her a deal that she
Yeah,
is
your
fine.
trash picks. You've offered me your trash that you didn't
Okay,
play well.
just Will.
Yeah, and just Brandon. You don't have to take the other Philip.
You
I
can
look,
combine
if you
them.
guys don't want me to have it, that's fine.
I'm gonna veto this because I like my team, so I don't really have anything that you can take from me.
All right.
I'm
that
not
I
trying to
want.
take anything from you.
That's
Yeah,
a
but then-
unanimous veto.
Yeah, but then if you were like, but I'm not gonna say yes out of the goodness of my heart. I just
Yeah,
feel like it's
I
not in
am
the
the
spirit.
dreams. I am the Yow Man. You are
You're
the
the
Oh, well,
dreams.
Martin
I
Luther
am
King
the
Day was a couple
dream.
days ago, Allie. Don't say I
No,
have.
that's
I am
fine.
the dream.
That's fine. Honestly, as I already said, which I frankly, like most things that blow up in my life, I did not expect this kind of response.
So
I
Gia's
thought it
the
was just gonna be
villain
fun.
now because
But
Gia
I
is blocking it under all terms.
Under
We are
principle.
negotiating.
This is fair.
Out of
I'm
protest.
gonna
She
decline.
could have said I would have said yes, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, no. So that's fine. I think the audience.
Okay,
will
wait.
hear
Here's
how I
another
plan.
thought.
No,
You
I'm
could-
declining a pick. No, I'm taking my power back. I'm declining to pick. I wanted to put either nothing and I walk away with the best team and $50, or you could put me versus the three of them on the board as my last rival pick.
So just to be clear, you were given the option to select one more pair out of 45 seasons of Survivor, and you said either it's nobody or it's me, one actual Survivor player, but two people who have not played Survivor.
Mike, you've known me for a lot of years. Are you the slightest bit surprised
Wait,
that this
never.
is the outcome?
Wait, but then I think she'll win with that too because that's
Yeah,
Oh, no,
that's
wait.
the
I
gag.
feel like you need to pick two Survivor players.
I do
Or
not
none
have
at
to pick,
all.
Mike. Is that in the rules? I have to pick.
I will say it's got to be. You can pick Alicia and Kimmy or nothing. That's my final.
Right.
offer.
Okay. I picked nothing. Spite $50 in my account.
All right.
I
so-
got it on sale and I walk with $50.
Can I just say I made a huge mistake in not buying Jonathan and Lindsay? I forgot about my own season.
You were so blinded by Tori and Roxroy
Yeah.
that you forgot about Jonathan and Lindsay. I mean, listen, Allie could give you some money to get Jonathan and Roxroy.
That
I
was my
really
proposal,
wanted to
but
pick- I wanted to pick.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna change my answer to yes.
Oh wait,
Look how
if you
scared
give
they are. Look how
if you
scared
give
they
me
are.
$10 so I can pick one more pair, then I'll vote yes.
No, I've made my decision.
Okay.
All right, and with that,
Haters fall back.
the
Listen, I
auction-
was out of the goodness of my heart saying yes, but that's fine.
The auction has officially closed. Let me read out the final teams right now. We'll go around the horn and see how everyone feels right now. Taran, you walk away with Shane and Courtney.
Can we
Tyson
go Sandra and Parvati first?
Uh,
Then Boston Rob and
no, it goes in the
Lex?
order of the draft, Taran.
Yes, Tyson and Sierra, Lex and Boston Rob, Shambo and Laura, Liana and Xander, Tori and Roxroy, Will and Shireen, Sugar and Randy, and Sandra and Parvati. How are you feeling right now about your group?
I love this team. I think this is a fantastic team. It's got a huge amount of it's got some hugely big names, classic, iconic rivalries. It's also got some niche, messy stuff that the super fans will really enjoy. It's also got some new era representation for the recency bias. It's also personal to me. It's got some of my favorites in here. So I'm really, really pleased with it.
All right, Allie Lasher, you walk away with, in addition to $50, you have Abby Maria and RC, Jerry and Colby, Boston Rob and Russell, Sugar and Corinne, Courtney and Jean Robert, Francesca and Philip, Eliza and Twyla, Adam and Jay, and Sandra and Russell. Double dip in the Russell hands here.
Yeah, and in fairness, I had other people on my draft board. I did have, now I'm looking at it, Kelly G and Lex, Ricard and Shan, which is sort of another frenemies kind of pair, but I feel really good walking away with Spite.
Gia, you ended up with Ben and Chrissy, Terry and Otis, Nayanka and Fabio, Dominic and Chris Noble, Rupert and Johnny Fairplay, as well as Sandra and Johnny Fairplay, Katora and Jake, Bobby John and Jamie, and Dreams and Yowman. You say you didn't want to give up any picks. You're feeling pretty solid about things right now?
I am really happy with my team, and I think it's very undersold that I have no flops, unlike some of these other draft teams that
Omar,
maybe
do you
have
want to revisit?
rivalries that are less to be desired. I can't help what the diversity quota was in the old era of Survivor. I'm sorry. It's about moving forward and focusing on the now, and I think now my draft is better than everybody else's. So
Wow,
thank
not calling
you.
Franny a flop. That's unpopular.
When
All
did I-
right.
Omar, are we prepared to neutralize our duds
How so?
by exchanging one of each? I'm not giving up Shireen.
I'm not taking Will.
You're at an impasse
I'm
then.
telling you, we are both better off with only one person.
I'm just saying, if you give me Shireen, then you can take either one of those two, because Will is obviously the worst and Shireen is obviously the best. And so I'm not going to take
Is
the
Will
worst.
obviously the worst? I don't know.
Yes.
I haven't kept up with Brandon versus Will.
Oh, Brandon might be the worst. But on the
Yeah.
show, Will was the worst.
I will take Brandon for Will.
No, I will take Shireen.
Brandon for Will is my final offer.
Brandon.
That's all. That's the best.
Okay.
I think that's a fair deal too.
All right.
I-
Well, Omar,
can't.
with that deal forsaken, you are left with Spencer and Kass, Crystal and Randy, Kelly and Sue, Nayanka and Kelly B, Bruce and Katora, your oft-mentioned Philip and Brandon Hance, and Candace and Brad Culpepper.
I'm hoping that with Brandon and Philip sandwiched between two Titan rivalries, that people will forget about it. That is
I'm
my-
gonna
I
remind
actually do
everybody.
think I didn't want to interrupt that beautiful exchange, but I do think splitting them is actually worse because at least it is a rivalry. You
Right.
know, that. Otherwise, you just have unpopular people hanging out.
That's
You call that
true,
worlds apart.
I
but
don't think it fully neutralizes the issue.
I think that if you see one name, you're just kind of like, what? That doesn't make sense, and you move on. Whereas
Right.
if you see both names, you're like, oh, right, these people.
I just think
This
my
thing
biggest
that
threat
happens.
here is Allie's list, because Allie's is like the most solid across the board with no real duds. Gia is on Survivor Guatemala Island, and then Taran
Famously not on an island.
is, and then Taran's is really good at the bottom, but the top is not so hot. So
The top has Tyson, Rob, and Lex.
Alright.
Come on.
We heard. Also, I have cash and I was philanthropic. Like, come on.
You have Jeff Bucks. Broke
Allie Rockefeller walking away here with the most net worth out of anybody here. But aren't we all feeling much more full from a liquid perspective, given how everything drafted? This was an immense amount of fun. As always, these podcasts exceed any expectations I have. Thank you all for everything you brought to the table. Chaos, calamity, and so much more. We'll go around the horn one final time for anything you want to plug for the listeners of the podcast out there. Taran, let's start with you.
You can find me on Twitch. I'm watching the traders, where you can tune in to see Parvati and Sandra go head to head in their rivalry currently happening in a fantastic show. Also plug wherever this poll is going to be, where you can vote for me.
Yeah, I think it'll be up on the rhaP Twitter page, at least, at Rob Has a Podcast. So we'll get that up in some amount of time where you can vote for it.
Yes, and listen, if we want to start a system where you want to start selling votes, for me, I can send you the votes, you can start selling them, and then you can get other people on board to start selling votes for me. And then you'll make money from them, and I'll make money from you, and it'll all work out, and I'll win this.
Okay,
Michael,
okay.
scoop
Yeah, I
in.
would say scoop in. Okay, let's move on before any more associations are made.
Surely there's a better example for Pyramid.
Taran wants to
kinda
make
guy.
the news, clearly. All right, Omar, what about you?
I have nothing going on. You can follow me on Instagram at Zaheer24 or Twitter at Omar Zaheer DVM. I am now a boarded specialist. Woo, 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 woo.
Congratulations.
And that's it.
Gia, what would you like to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Classically Gia for all of my reality TV shenanigans. I'm on a little bit of a hiatus right now just because there's no Survivor on for Silent Podcast and Inside Survivor stuff, but I'll have some stuff soon. And also because Omar, who seemed to be so caring about diversity quotas, did not mention it. Please follow the Survivor Diversity campaign on Twitter at Serve Diversity. That's at SURV Diversity, because I care.
Maybe they could teach you a thing or two about how to draft.
Oh, all right. Well, Allie, bring us home. What else are you plugging besides the $50 that are now going into your bank account?
You can check out the challenge rhaP Up, where Brian and I are talking about the challenge. Rob has a website.com/challenge feed. And you could check out myself and Akiva Winokur talking about New Girl, Old Guy. As my mom said, who's listening to this and for what audience? So check that out at anchor.fm/New Girl, Old Guy. I'm currently private on social media. So if I don't delete X before I go unprivate, you can request to follow me at Lash Tweets, but you won't have much success at the current moment. And I do just want to say thank you to this group of people who can like really take a joke and can really dish out some shit, because there's nothing more fun than doing that in this context. So this was way more fun than I anticipated, and that's because of all of that nonsense.
Have we gone on our own Rivals to Friends arc?
Oh my God, Jay and Adam, watch out!
Wait, how come you're still watching the challenge when your idols Devin and Bananas are not on it?
Yeah, Omar's really been beating that horse. Those are my idols. Yeah, find out at the challenge rhaP.
There we go. And if you want to hear any stories about Rupert, just slide her and Andrew Jackson, and she'll let you know. Of course, you can follow me at a Mike Bloom type, and you can check out what's going on next week as we're back for another edition of Outbid, Outpay, Outdraft with a brand new panel drafting a brand new subject. I will not tease exactly what we'll be bidding on next week, but I will say I think it's worth watching for. Thank you all so much for checking all this out, both live and in the archive. Special thanks again to Taran, Gia, Omar, and Allie for putting it all out on the table and then some. This was such a fun podcast. Can't wait to do it all again and again. Another draft going this time next week. Until then, everybody, take care. Bye-bye.